get it going here. And we are live. Hey guys, how you going? Said BKRsport. We are live for the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Canberra Raiders in what is about to be a pretty big day of rugby league. This weekend has been absolutely giving so far. You know, we've seen 3 games. Ooh, I've got to put everything on mute. I've got to put everything on the mute there, and also exit out of that so I don't get those notification sounds. Wowee, that's annoying. But today's a big day of rugby league. This weekend, obviously, the Bulldogs get a massive upset win over the undefeated Panthers to win 32-16. Then we saw a pretty good game, pretty close game for the majority of that Dragons Manly. That was really exciting for a good 65 until the Dragons fell off, as they typically do, and obviously they have not won a game just yet. And then we had last night's Broncos Cowboys game, which, look, was exciting. It was exciting for sure because there's a lot of points scored and close game and it went down to the last seconds and whatnot, but just the officiating really killed the momentum of how good that actually could have been. Alright, Ashley Klein and the bunker, they just had no idea last night, unfortunately, and I just think it takes away a lot from how good that game could have absolutely been. You know, there was a lot of errors and there was a lot more that you would have wanted to see from the Cowboys. I'm still not convinced on them, and the Broncos without a lot of injuries, and you know, it just was. There was a lot in it that I just feel like there was something missing from it on the basis that the referees had so much of an involvement against both sides there. So that was disappointing. But at the end of the day, it was a close game, exciting, blah, blah, blah. You know, we got through it. Now we get to today. And there's 3 actual really hard games to tip here. We've got the Rabbitohs versus the Raiders first up. Then we have the Sharks versus the Roosters. And then we have the Storm versus the Warriors. All 3 of these games are effectively 50-50, I would say. All 3 of them. Every single one of them. There is no clear favourite, in my opinion, out of all 3 of these games. There just isn't. So, we're in for a pretty good day here. Obviously, we could see some blowouts. We could see, teams just take it away from the other, and especially in this one, like if the Raiders come in with the same form that they've had so far this season. So, 1 second, Hickey. 1 second here, guys. We're back. Sorry. I had something like stuck in my throat. Anyway, we're back. So, look, yeah, the Rabbitohs Raiders, if the Raiders play the same form they've had this season, and the Rabbitohs play to their standards that they've had this season, well, then there is a potential of a blowout there. But I just feel like the Raiders are so desperate, dude. The Raiders, if they lose this game, they're not going to go into last because the Dragons have already lost their game. They play the Rabbitohs next week, actually, so the same opponents. But they wouldn't go into last, but they're in second last right now, and they were the minor premiers last year. So it just is, and they would have to be just undeniably desperate for a win here. They are currently situated in 1-4, which you just would have not ever expected the Raiders to be sitting where the Titans and the Dragons are after how good of a performance they put on into the 2025 season. Whilst Rabbitohs, they're up there in 5th position right now. They're flying. They're happy with this. That top 5 is outstanding. That top 5 going into this year is cooked. Like Panthers in first, we expected that. But Tigers, Knights, Cowboys, and Rabbitohs in 2, 3, 4, and 5 is just... It's mind-blowing, mate. It's absolutely mind-blowing that this is the table right now. I know the season will equal out, and I know that we'll see a lot of a change there. But, like, at the time being, that is spectacular to see a team who came last 3 years in a row into 5th last year, the Knights who came last year, the Cowboys who have been just extremely underwhelming for years now, and then the Rabbitohs who came 4th last year, but that was also due to injuries, and I did think they would make the 8 without their injuries. But like that top 5 is just cooked, man. It's cooked, but we'll see how the season does play out there. But let's get into this first game here between the Rabbitohs and the Raiders. Obviously, guys, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. This is actually over in Perth, so this is a double header. The Sharks-Roosters game is also at Optus Stadium in Perth. This game is at Optus Stadium in Perth. They're typically, I think it's the Rabbitohs who predominantly take it over there. Obviously, Perth come into the competition next year, which is exciting for the NRL. We'll go to 18 teams, and you'll see a lot less buys. You will go back to just the 2 buys, I think it is. Is it just the 2 buys? Or is it just the one? No, it's 2 buys during the Origin period, right? I'm pretty certain it is. So we'll go back to the 2 buys rather than seeing a buy every single week. You won't see that. You'll just go back to, if you remember pre-Dolphins, when it was just a whole clump of bye rounds in between, like rounds 12/13 to about round 17 or so. A whole clump of bye rounds for teams in that kind of period. I think round maybe 12 to 19 was actually ultimately where the bye rounds were. Outside of that, there wasn't a bye every single week. So that is something that is good to look forward to. But the Rabbitohs, they are 5th position. The Raiders are 16th position, and this is at Optus Stadium in Perth. The ins for the Rabbitohs, big in, Brandon Smith and Edward Cosey, with the out being Bronson Garlick and Moala Graham Talfa. Fullback is Jai Gray, with the wingers being Alex Johnston and Campbell Graham. Centers of Latrell Mitchell and Jack Whiten. Go to the 5'8", Cody Walker, with the halfback being Jamie Humphreys. Front row forwards are Tavita Totola and Keon Kolomatangi, with the number 9 being Brandon Smith. The back row is David Fafita and Tallis Duncan, with the 13 being Cameron Murray, who was also the captain. Interchange, Peter Mamazelas, Lachlan Hubner, Sean Kepi, Liam LeBlanc, Jaden Sullivan and Edward Cosey, with the coach being Wayne Bennett. The Rabbitohs, they have been flying so far this season, really. You know, they won 40-30 over the Dolphins, and they lost the Roosters 26-18, but it was a good result against the Tigers, who are currently second. They won 20-16 and had to defend really valiantly in that game to just hold out a rampaging Tigers team in that game, and they got the dub, which was really impressive for them there. And then they had the bye, and then they go and beat the Bulldogs last week, who were having a struggle season, but they've gone on to beat the Panthers this week, right? So 32-24 there, that was good, but that Bulldogs team in the first 5 rounds was not the same team that we saw on Thursday night against the Panthers. It just simply wasn't, man, which is great to see, and that's why we love rugby league, but it's just so different to see how the Bulldogs played against the Rabbitohs to how the Bulldogs played against the Panthers, man. Like, it's so different there. But they've been going well. I still am not ultimately convinced long-term this season. I still think I had them for a top 8 team, and I still have them for the top 8, and I think next year with Payne Haas, they're going to be an absolute belter. But you still do look at these halves and just think, how much production are we going to get from them long-term this season? Cody Walker is on the back end of his career now. Jamie Humphreys, he is actually doing pretty well for the club when he's been playing. He's only played, I think, 1 or 2 games now. Maybe 1. I think last week, maybe in his first game, or it might have been the week beforehand, I can't remember. But there is still question marks in regards to these halves being able to get the rest of this team going, because ultimately this team is fantastic. They've got a fantastic forward pack with Dave Fafita, who hasn't done much this year, but also Dave Fafita, big name. Tallis Duncan, he's great. Cameron Murray, he's fantastic. Keon Kolomatangi, he's fantastic. Off the Dragons next year, however. And then Tavita Totola is the other prop with Brandon Smith there. That forward pack is unbelievable. And then you go to the back line, and the back line's great too. Jai Gray, Alex Johnson, Trell Mitchell, Jack White, and Campbell Graham. That's one of the best 1-5s in the game right now. So the Rabbitohs are really building for ultimately next year, in my opinion. I think they're more so building for next year, where they're really going to make a statement with Payne Haas. But again, I will still have those doubts in regards to the production that we're going to see out of these halves, because if the halves can just get an okay game going, the other players are going to be able to do what they need to do. They're just going to be able to perform. So they just need to get like a normal production going, and they've got so many star players across the park outside of the halves that it should be able to move along, right? Which is the complete opposite to the Melbourne Storm. So the Rabbitohs are quite literally the complete opposite team to the Melbourne Storm, where the Rabbitohs have a questionable spine, but have an incredible team outside of their spine. Whilst the Storm, they have an incredible spine, but their team outside of the spine is very questionable. That's why you're seeing these lackluster results for the Storm at the moment. They're quite literally the opposite teams. And right now, the Rabbitohs are obviously doing better with their situation in comparison, but you know, we'll see the Storm tonight against the Warriors at home if they lose 3 games in a row. By the way, I just realised Broncos, I don't believe, have won. Oh, they've won 1 game at home this year. Sorry, they did beat the Dolphins. Outside of that, they're 1-3 at home, which is actually crazy to think about. The Storm, you know, they lost the Broncos the last time they played there in Melbourne, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, point of the matter is, the Rabbitohs have a good team here, and they have a good enough team to win, but I'm still needing convincing for mine. In my personal opinion, I still need convincing, and this is a game to go and do it against a Raiders team that will be desperate. They are very low on the table. Their form is not great. However, we know what they can do, and when desperate times come, and this is a desperate time, I know we're only 6 rounds in, but like, this is a desperate time for the Raiders. You can't be situated after 6 rounds after a minor premiership season on a 1-5. You know, that'd just be disastrous. It'd be absolutely disastrous, and it would show the 1-year syndrome that the Raiders had last year. which would just be wild considering they have a good enough team here. So we move to the Raiders. Dane Laurie, Jed Stewart and Joe Roddy come in with Chevy Stewart, Matty Tomoko and Xavier Savage going out. The fullback is KO Weeks with wingers being Savilio Tamale and Jed Stewart. Centers of Simi Sasangi and Sebastian Chris. The 5'8" is Ethan Strange with the halfback being Ethan Sanders. Then you go to the props with Joseph Tarpany, who's the captain, and Atamariota comes in to start. The number 9 is Tom Starling, with the back row being Hudson Young and Zach Hosking, with Morgan Smithies as the 13. Interchange, Josh Papali'i, Noah Martin, Corey Horsburgh, Jaden Brayley. Corey Horsburgh going to the bench is interesting. Wow, that is an interesting thing to note there. Jaden Brayley, Dane Laurie, and Joe Roddy with Ricky Stewart as the coach. So Ricky's made a couple of changes here. So Josh Papali'i goes to the bench for Atamariota, and then you've got Zach Hosking coming into the back row for Noah Martin, and then you've got Morgan Smithies coming into the lock for Corey Horsburgh. I'm interested why all these changes in the forward pack. Obviously, this is to play the Rabbitohs. Like, this must be a definitive. I trust Ricky in regards to his man management here, but it's just interesting because you would fully expect Corey Horsburgh to starting. You'd be fully expecting Noah Martin to be starting with the way that he's been so far this season, despite the Raiders' form. And you would expect Josh Papali'i to be starting over Adam Mariota, but that's not the case. So Ricky has changed his team around pretty significantly in the forwards here today. The biggest key point here is that despite the first game for Ethan Sanders, where he played well against Manly and kind of quelled a lot of the nerves that we had for him as a rookie halfback, unfortunately he has become that rookie halfback that hasn't necessarily delivered in his first 5 rounds so far. Going into the 6th round, he hasn't delivered to the standards that the Raiders were set underneath Jamal Fogarty, just being able to get through the motion and really define a lot of what this team was doing on the attacking front. This Raiders team is lacking that direction right now. Ethan Strange is not a directive half, and Ethan Sanders, look, could he be? Sure, but he hasn't been so far. So whilst the Rabbitohs have their question marks in regards to the halves, so do the Raiders. But at the very least with the Raiders, they don't have the discipline of Cody Walker, right? Which can be a hindrance to the Rabbitohs for sure. But he also has some big moments in him as well. But you go to the back line, like their 1-3-5 is great here. Kale Weeks great, Tamale Sisangi and Sebastian Chris and Jed Stewart. They're not the same great as the Rabbitohs, but they do have a lot of power. They are very strong, and they do have a bit about them. It's still not as great as the Rabbitohs, but that 1-3-5 is good. And then you go to the forwards, and well, if you had Noah Martin and Corey Horsburgh in the starting forwards, you would have definitely liked it a lot more. Overall, it's still fine. Like, Zach Hosking's still good. Hudson Young's great. I expect a massive game out of him today. Joseph Tarpany's fantastic. Tom Starling's great. And Morgan Smithies is, very solid. Overall, that's still fine. But I am really questioning why they've made so many changes in the forwards here. I am, to be completely honest with you. And the Raiders so far this season, they beat Manly 29-28. This was when they were really poor though, Manly. So it's a result, but it's their only win so far this season, that Manly game. And they were down 14-0, came back to 28-14, and then with 5-7 minutes to go, Manly scored to make it 28-28, and then Ethan Sanders kicks a field goal in extra time. They are an extra time away from not having won a game like the Dragons. So they're flying under the radar right now. Because people expect it from the Titans to have only won one game without being against the Dragons. People expect that. People expect it from the Dragons right now. But the Raiders are an extra timer away from being winless like the Dragons. So it's funny that Raiders fans, and this is with no disrespect intended, but it's funny that Raiders fans complain that people don't talk about them when they're at the top of the table and they fly under the radar quite significantly as a successful team. Well, the flip side happens here, where you're actually quite lucky that you are from Canberra and people don't really talk about Canberra a great deal, and you fly under the radar in this situation because you're in a very similar situation to the Gold Coast Titans and the Dragons, but specifically the Dragons in this scenario, because you were literally an extra time away from being 0-5 alongside them. That's how bad this start of the season has been. 29-28 win over Manly, lost 40-6 to the Warriors, lost 14-10 to the Bulldogs, lost 34-22 to the Sharks, and lost 32-12 to the Knights. So they're not even necessarily losing close games too. They lost a close one to the Dogs. The Sharks one was pretty exciting, but still ended up being 12 points. But they got flogged by the Knights, and they got flogged by the Warriors there. This is concerning signs. So whilst you're disappointed that you don't get the raps that you feel you deserve for when you are looking as successful as you did last year, you should be also quite grateful that you're not coupling the same amount of criticism from the media that a big, like if you're, for example, a Roosters was in your situation, or a Broncos was in your situation, Melbourne Storm, Penrith Panthers kind of deal, they would cop it deluxe. Like they would be getting roasted into absolute oblivion right now. But because you are Canberra, it's a positive that you're not getting roasted into oblivion by the wider media consensus and from the fans' consensus, right? And whilst that's a bit of an insult in the fact that no one talks about Canberra, I'm just saying it works out better for you right now in regards to not having to deal with it all. Anyway, who do I tip here in this game? I really don't know. I think this is 50-50. I think on merit, the Rabbitohs with their team list should win this, but I'm actually going to say the Raiders are desperate enough to win it. I'm going to say they're too desperate to win this game, and they find a way, which would be an upset, obviously, but it's a tough one to read, man. Like, the Rabbitohs on paper should be getting this job done. They just should be. But over there in Perth, I guess the Rabbitohs are probably a little bit more experienced over in Perth. I don't feel like the Raiders have played there recently. Like, Rabbitohs make sense to tip. They do, but I'm liking a bit of an upset here. So I'm going to, and even though this is a detriment to my own team here, and I would prefer the Rabbitohs to win this game for sure, the point of the matter is that I just feel like the Raiders, they're at desperate measures, desperate levels time, and they need to win this game. Whilst the Rabbitohs, they've looked good, haven't convinced me ultimately, but if they go and win this game well, it will convince me a lot more. I'll be a lot more convinced. Like, for example, I defend the Knights a lot. People say, oh, equal the season out a bit, the Knights will fall off. I don't even necessarily believe so. I think the Knights have looked really good. They've proven a lot, and they've attacked great. They're just all out attack right now, and they're putting the pressure on that way. I'm convinced in the Knights right this very second. The Tigers, I'm close to being there in regards to them being a top 8 team this year. I'm very close to being there. Cowboys, I'm nowhere close at all with them being there. And the Rabbitohs, I thought they were going to make the top 8 preseason anyway. So I'm there or thereabouts. But I need to see them go and win this game here and not end the Raiders season by any stretch of the imagination, but really hurt it. Like, it would really hurt it, especially if the Titans then went on to win against the Eels tomorrow. That would then separate the Raiders in the second last by 2 points in total, but also that points differential will be getting away from them. They're on minus 69 right now. They've got the second worst points differential in the competition, which is exactly where they are. So, yeah, look, very interesting game. Very, very interesting game here. And, oh no, I have to look at Mal on the screen. Oh my gosh. Very interesting game. I'm going to take the upset, but I'm fully aware the Rabbitohs have every right to win this game. In regards to the first 7 rounds of the Rabbitohs, so they had the bye. They're on currently 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. They play the Raiders here, and then they play the Dragons next week. I think for it to be a successful season, you've got to be at a minimum of 4-2. Or for a successful start of the season, I think it's going to be 4-2 from this situation, because you only need then 1 win and your 2 wins above 500. Well, technically 1 win above 500, but whatever, you understand the point. You're 2 more wins than losses. So I feel like you just need at least the 1 win out of the Raiders and Dragons, and there's no way you should be losing to the Dragons next week, that's for sure. So I feel like even if you lose this game, you'll be alright, because you'll end up being 4-2, probably. Obviously, miracles can happen. If you don't win either of these next 2 games, you'll end up being 3-3, and whilst it's a decent start, you'll be left feeling quite disappointed that it only ended up being 3-3. If you end up getting both of these wins here against the Raiders and the Dragons, then that means you'd be 5-1, and that'd be a fantastic start to your season. And it's entirely possible. You could entirely possibly be 5-1. But there is also a world, as we know with Rugby League, that they go and win this game by 50, and if for some reason the Dragons turn up next week and they just get a win. I don't think so. I'm not going to be tipping the Dragons unless something happens today where the Rabbitohs lose by 70. I won't be tipping them, but I think there's an entire world that you would be 5-1. However, we also were speaking about this with the Panthers, and the Panthers, we were talking about them potentially being 7-0, and then they go and lose in their 6th round to a Bulldogs team that's looked awful this season. So you just never know, man. And that's what's so exciting. You just never know. So I'm going to predict you, because I have gone the upset today, so I'm going to predict you at 4-2, which I think you should be super happy with to start this season. And then we go to the Raiders, who again, they 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4 in this game. They have not had a bye, and they don't have a bye in these next 2 rounds. So they play the Rabbitohs away in Perth this week, and then next week they play the Melbourne Storm in Canberra. Really need to see how the Storm play against the Warriors to understand that game a little bit more. But 1-4 is just diabolical right now. To salvage your season, you kind of do need to get both these wins. You kind of do. It's not like a necessity. Things can change dramatically. The Panthers were last after 8 or 9 rounds last year, and same with the Roosters, and they made the 8 still. But for your own sake, you need to win this game, because I feel like it's still so hard to trust against the Storm, because although the Storm form has been absolutely awful, historically we just think and believe that they're going to turn it around. Whether that happens or not is another question, but you just have that innate sense, that innate belief that they're going to turn it around at some stage. So I wouldn't be expecting a win there. You have to win this game here today, Raiders. It is a must, because otherwise you'd be 1-5, and then there's an entire world you go 1-6. Mind you, you play the Tigers week after at Leichhardt, and they're going well right now. You could be 1-7, and then you take on the Gold Coast Titans, who are never going to lose a game again. So that's a guaranteed 1-8. They'll never lose a game ever again, the Gold Coast Titans. So you've got to, and then you play the Panthers after that Titans game before your first bye in round 11. If you don't win here today, taking out the banter and stuff of the Titans game, like, you must win that Titans game. But if you don't win it today, you've got the Rabbitohs, the Storm, the Tigers, and the Panthers across this next 5-week stanza. You're in for a show, son. You're in for a show. So today is a must-win. It is desperate times, Raiders. You have to win this game. If not, you're an entire chance of being 1-6. So yeah, that's the Raiders' first 7 rounds. Yikes, you need something to go your way. Now, in regards to the ladder, the Rabbitohs, they're in 5th position right now on 8 points, which is equal with the Tigers, the Knights, the Cowboys, and the Bulldogs there. The Bulldogs have a +5, Rabbitohs +14, Cowboys +16, Knights +32, and the Tigers +44. Now, if you win this game here, Rabbitohs, you would actually go equal with the Penrith Panthers in 1st position. However, their points differential is +134. So you would go into 2nd position, but you would not finish the round in 2nd position, because the only team, there's 2 teams that can go above you. It's the Knights and the Cowboys. Knights and the Tigers, sorry, and they play each other. So if the Tigers win, they're +44, they'll go back above you. Unless you win this game by 40 points to go to +54, and then the Tigers win by less than 10, then you will stay in 2nd. And the same thing goes, if you win this game by 40 points, go to 50 points and go to +54, 40 points go +54, and the Knights, win by less than 20, well then you go into 2nd. Ultimately, you're probably just going to be finishing in third this week, but I don't think you give a shit. Like, a win guarantees you 2nd or 3rd. Simple as that. And then whoever wins that Tigers-Knights game will be above you. But also, you would still, regardless, be in equal 1st alongside the Penrith Panthers. They play the Dolphins next week, though. Good luck to the Dolphins. Then we go down to, if they lose, the Rabbitohs would have to lose by 9 or more to go below the Bulldogs into 6th position. The Warriors have a +52. So if they beat the Storm today, the Rabbitohs would go into 7th position. The Sharks have a +18, which is already better than the Rabbitohs. So if the Sharks beat the Roosters right after this in Perth, you would go down to 8th position. Manly have already played. Broncos have already played. Dolphins had their bye. Roosters, and -35, who cares? They would go equal with the Rabbitohs, but the lowest the Rabbitohs can go is into 8th position. And that's just provided the Warriors win, the Sharks win, and you lose by 9 points or more. Lowest is 8th, but the highest is in 2nd, but more than likely 3rd. Raiders, on the other hand, they're in 16th position. If they were to lose this game, they will not go into last position. They're equal to Titans right now in 2. Titans with -64, Raiders with -69. The Dragons obviously on 0. So if the Raiders lose, they will stay in 2nd last, unless they lose by 1 to go to -70, and then the Titans lose by about 7 points or more tomorrow. Then even with a loss, that the Raiders would go into 15th position there. But more than likely speaking, if you lose, you probably stay in 16th position there. However, obviously, it just depends on points differential. If you win this game, however, you would go above the Titans into 15th position for the time being, ultimately depending on how the Titans versus Eels game goes tomorrow. But you would actually go equal with the Eels and the Storm on 4 points. Now, you have got a -69, the Eels have a -60, and the Storm +26. Now, you've kind of in a bit of a lose-lose situation here for tomorrow, because the Titans play the Eels. So if the Well, I guess if you beat the Rabbitohs today by, say, let's go 6 points, right? And you go to minus 63. No, you know what? Let's go 10 points and you go to minus 59. Say the Titans win by 1 point. You'd still go above both those teams because the Eels would go to minus 61, the Titans would go to minus 63, and you would be minus 59. So you can go into 14th regardless of the result tomorrow. Regardless. If the Titans win tomorrow, which is above you, and the Eels are there too, you still have a chance of going in 14th. But this is just crazy that we're even talking like this. But it's entirely possible. So there's that, and then there's the Storm plus 26. They would have to lose by about 80. So good luck with that. We're not even going to bother even considering that. So the Raiders either finish in second last or they finish in 15 or 14. Whilst the Rabbitohs, they can finish in second, probably more so third, but also can drop off to 8th position. So that is the ladder for this round. But there we go, guys. That's the preview here for today. We've got about 20 minutes to go until the game does start. Don't forget, we'll be live for both the other games too, of the Roosters versus the Sharkies over in Perth. And we also have the Melbourne Storm versus the New Zealand Warriors later on tonight. Geez, a late one for you Wars fans. That will be a late one for you guys over in New Zealand because that's what a 7:30 p.m. start. That'll be, 2 or 3 hours in front. If you're 3 hours, then that'll be 10:30. If you're 2 hours, then that'll be 9:30 start. Gee whiz. Condor says, Faye's going to get smashed, I disagree. Benny West says, this is going to be a good game. Both teams have coaches they respect, play fun, like Flanner uses syringes at training. What the hell are we doing, man? What's with your comments lately, Ben? What is with your comments lately? I don't understand. Aspect says, only bad game was Dragons Manly. Only one team wanted to win, other team wants paychecks. Disagree. I think Dragons Manly was a good game to watch. That wasn't quality, but I thought it was an enjoyable game to watch overall. Brent's doing Blaze like the hat, mate. That's good hat, isn't it? I love the way that like this is so Thai though. Like the way that these come up is just so Thailand, bro. It is peak Thailand. That. Jess, it's an interesting start for Martin, Horsburgh, and Papali'i from the bench. I guess Sticky has to try something. Yeah, but I don't know why he's trying that. Sure, he would know more than me in regards to this team, but I'm not sure off the top of my head why he would be deciding this, unless he's just saying these guys are going to come on and run amok right after, especially with a guy like Noel Martin, I guess. But with Corey Horsburgh, he definitely is more of a starter, and I don't understand why he wouldn't be starting in place of Morgan Smithies, because Morgan Smithies is... He's okay, like he's a workhorse, but I just feel like it's strange to me that Corey Horsburgh was not starting over Smithies. I do understand Adam Mariota for Papali'i. I do get it, but I think the biggest question mark that I have is Corey Horsburgh to the bench. Royal says, if Sharks and Storm lose this week, none of last year's prelim contenders and grand finalists will win this week. Yeah, well, there you go. Scott says, Panthers $2.70 to win the premiership. Oh my gosh, we're still talking about the premiership. Oh my gosh, Scott. Oh, you never learned. Panthers $2.70 to win the premiership. Every other team is paying $12 or more. Would you get on Panthers since Broncos and Storm maybe not made the 8? Thoughts, brother? We're around 6. I think the Panthers win the comp. That's as far as I'm going to go there. I can't, like, bro, we're not, like, 6 rounds. I'll take the Panthers. Just both. You're really you really are obsessed with this long-term season on immediate reactions. Like it's saying Storm and Broncos don't make the 8 is so immediate, bro. Like it is so immediate. I don't know. Do you actually listen to ever when I respond to you, Scott? Because it doesn't make sense that you're making such a strict call on Broncos and Storm to not make the 8 after 6 rounds now. Well, not even 6 rounds for the Storm, but 5 rounds, 6 rounds for the Broncos and 5 rounds for the Storm. What are we talking about? Broncos and Storm don't make the 8. You know, it's just like I don't actually think you listen to my responses, Scott. I'm not gonna lie. Just focus on tipping Canberra here. Well, lads, yeah. Look, I think Canberra have a sneaky little chance of an upset, but it's a hard one because like the Rabbitohs do. Well, the Rabbitohs do have every right to win this game. They've been the better team in form. They do have a really good team overall. I have the questions in regards to the halves, but they do have every right to go and win this game. Brenton says, Scott, why do you always ask in-depth future questions? Thank you, Brenton. It's every time. But the thing is, the problem is that I don't think that he actually listens to my response. I don't think he does, because if he listens to the response that I have for him every single time he asks an in-depth question about the long-term season, I'm happy to do it. Like, I'm happy to answer the question, but we're in a repetitive cycle. Every single time we see a comment, it's kind of referring to the exact same thing and about the long term. And it's like, well, bro, we're only 5.5 rounds into the season of a 27-round season, plus also obviously the finals. So much can happen between now and then, but also not even that. Again, happy to answer the question, but I just feel like that I'm saying the same thing over and over again, and it's just not being heard. And now he said that I have a 200 IQ NRL knowledge. I have an understanding. I also don't know everything, but the thing is that I am saying the same thing to you every single time, bro. Just be aware of what we're watching now, and know things can absolutely change. There is so many injuries to come. God bless, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but there is. There's origin to come. You know, there is bad form for teams. No one expected the Panthers to go and lose to the Bulldogs. Last week you were saying they're not going to lose a game this season, and now you're saying that they're going to win the comp after they've just lost to the Bulldogs. You know, like, what are we doing? Like, they've just lost to the Bulldogs. Last week you said they're not going to lose a game. Now we're going on the Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm just really confused. I'm confused because I don't feel like you're actually listening to anything that I respond to you. Just Poker says, man, the Doggies were on fire. They were really good. They were really good in the weekend. Real Grand Majesty says, to be fair, the Panthers team we saw on Thursday wasn't the same team we saw in the first 5 rounds too. They literally forgot how to make basic passes and were sloppy from the get-go. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's 100%. A lot of the first half, and that's the thing, and this is how I believe the only weakness in this Melbourne Storm, there's a lot of weaknesses in that team, the only weakness we have in the Panthers team right now is that if they don't have a good first half, there is a good chance that you can beat them and they lose the game, because they are not a second half team. They are so highly emphasised in regards to dominating the first half that you could see they were shocked and surprised that it wasn't coming off for them against the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs came in with the right mentality. They hit them hard. They hit first. They scored the try, and I feel like if Casey McLean scores that, or passes the ball to Jenkins, I believe, or whatever. If they score that try, the Panthers, it may have been a different story, and the Panthers could have had that confidence, that momentum, and they might have piled some points on and changed the whole context of the game. But because of the mistake and the Bulldogs go and score, I just feel like if you score first against the Panthers, and I know the Roosters did too, but if you score first against them, and then you maintain that consistency, you don't drop the ball in the next set up to the points, and you maintain that consistency, I feel like you have a really good chance of winning that game, because they are not a second half team at all. So if you lead at halftime, or if you're really close at halftime, it just comes down to you have to match them in the first half. And then when you match them in the first half, you better hope you're not tired for the second half. But if you match them in the first half and you have the stamina to go into the second half, I feel like the Panthers are very beatable in that sense. I feel like they are. Cosrip says, good morning, team. What a great day for a Raiders upset. Love it. Beautiful day over in Perth. Beautiful day. It's 1959 in Perth, though. Scott Walker says, will we see a 50? I think if we're going to see a 50, it's more likely from this game than any other game today. If you're asking for today, this would probably be the only game that could potentially be a 50. Sharks and Roosters, I actually, funnily enough, feel that could go under. It's a tough game to call that one, but I'm going to say Sharks and under, but that's a tough one. Storm Warriors, on a typical sense of Storm over the years, the Storm have scored 50 quite a lot against this Warriors team, and especially on this game. Well, the Anzac Day game is actually more so, but the one in Melbourne, which is what this game is, they usually do actually score 50, so that's what I'm concerned about there. However, I feel like that game's going to go down to the wire. The Warriors, they're on a losing streak. It's 2 losses in a row, but also they're on a losing skid, and the Melbourne Storm are on a losing streak. They've lost 3 games in a row. So both those teams have lost their most recent games. Storm 3, Warriors 2. Storm typically smash the Warriors in Melbourne, but also the Storm have looked very beatable, man. Just very, very beatable. So yeah, again, to answer your question, I'd probably say this game more so, but I'm not backing in a 50, but more so this game. Cosrip says, I developed a twitch in my left eye, but other than that, it's all good. Yeah, look, I back it. I back it. I know the feeling, Cosrips. I've been there before. I'm there every year with the Titans. Scott James says, Broncos 1-3 at home. Sure, that's fraud alert. That's 2020 Broncos form. But they can't be on fraud alert. They're not in the top 8. Just to clarify here for everybody who doesn't know this, The only way you can be on fraud alert is if you're in the top 8. Everybody else is a fraud. They're all fraud alerts until they're in the top 8. And then it comes down to the context and whatnot, or a bit of a joke. But like at the end of the day, the Panthers did lose to a team that was outside of the 8. Now they're in 6th position. There is the alert of potential fraud there, but they're fine. They're still for mine going to win the comp. But the point matter is that if you're not in the top 8, you are a fraud. You're in fraud alert because you're not even in the finals. That's how you've got to see it as. Anyone not here is on fraud alert, except for the Gold Coast Titans, who will never lose a game ever again. Brenton says, and the arms a little sore from the shadow boxing. I've got 2 black eyes, a bit like the Dragons. I would lose the bye week at the moment. Cosmic says Jed Stewart's either going to pop off this game or let us down. I just get a gut feeling about the Raiders, but then again, gut feelings don't always mean shit. But I do get a bit of a gut feeling they're going to get up here today. See, Scott, this makes more sense. See, this is a great question. Scott says, would you fade Broncos till Walsh is back? I don't see them beating the Bulldogs or Tigers next fortnight. Well, I love how people change their immediate thoughts on the Bulldogs after one game. But also, Tigers are not unbeatable, but you would probably be taking them over the Broncos right this very second. However, I will say I wouldn't bet on Broncos games in general until Walsh is back, because you don't know what you're going to get for them. I was pretty impressed from Thomas Duffy. Had a couple of bad moments, but also was really good last night, Thomas Duffy, for the Broncos. I didn't mind when Rogers came in, but you've got to remember, it's not even just Reece Walsh. Ben Hunt is out. We don't know what's happening with Reno. I think he might be back next week, which will be a boost. But Reece Walsh, for mine, is their key spark in their attack. So whilst Reno comes back in and does a great deal for their attack, ultimately, I thought Duffy did a pretty good job, and I actually would nearly see him right now, to be fair. But I would probably fade the Broncos for the time being, just because you don't know what output you're going to get. And the Bulldogs, well, is that so? That's who they're playing next week, is it? Broncos play the Bulldogs, is it? That's a good game. That is a good game. So it is. No, Broncos Tigers next week at Campbelltown, and then it must be. Is the Bulldogs having a core or Suncorp at Suncorp Stadium? Broncos have been struggling at Suncorp this year. Damn, that is an interesting game next week. I'd prefer to see the Tigers Knights game tomorrow before I can really make an idea up about that game, because the Tigers have some good early season form. Same with the Knights. Whoever loses that, you'll have a little bit of quirks and reassurances on your question marks on their higher ladder positions. So I guess wait for tomorrow to see about that Tigers. But yes, until Reece Walsh specifically gets back, I probably would stick away from betting Broncos games in general. Not for them or against them, in my opinion. Because they can still win. Cosgrove says, Broncos' biggest problem, the halves. I think Arthurs is good enough to back behind that forward pack. I disagree. I thought Arthurs was awful yesterday. I thought Jesse Arthurs was really poor yesterday in that fullback. I think the forwards were solid, and I actually, funnily enough, think that Ezra Mann was pretty poor, but I did think that overall Duffy did enough. He had some really big moments. Again, should have been, if you're calling AJ Brimson's one forward, that definitely is forward from Thomas Duffy. Broncos fans right now are saying that they were robbed last night, and I agree. And Cowboys fans are saying, well, they had to beat the ref to win the game, and I also agree. That's how bad the refereeing was last night. The officiating was so bad. So I feel for Broncos and Cowboys fans, because you're both right in feeling aggrieved by that officiating from Ashley Klein to the bunker. It was diabolical. It was absolutely diabolical. Cowboys, you were robbed and still won. Broncos, you were robbed and didn't win. So you're the one who should feel more aggrieved, but also you both had horrible calls last night that ruined a lot of the spark and the magic that game could have been. And that could have been a really magical game, but unfortunately, it was ruined by the men in the middle. Actually, Pace went down the weekend as well. That's a whole spine nearly out of action. You're right. Yeah, I think Renner comes back next week, because he was actually going to play this week, but then he got taken out last second. But Corey Pace went down. But you also, Blake Moses now injured for a while. I don't know who the hooker is. I actually don't know who the Broncos go in hooker. You might actually have to see a world where they put a guy like Ezra there. There is a world, because Ben Hunt is out, Corey Pakes, I believe, is out, and Blake Moser is definitely out. I don't know the extent of Corey Pakes, but Blake Moser is out, Ben Hunt is out. I think Billy Walters is obviously still out. He's out for ATL or whatever, and long story short, who's your hooker? So the Broncos are in a weird spot, dude. They are. They're in a weird spot. I would fade hard. You're right, Cos. Graham says, I feel like the Rabbitohs will lose this game. Yeah, I've tipped the Raiders an upset. Cos says, all my family are Broncos supporters, so I might send them your tip as well. Because they got Tigers next week away and Bulldogs at home. I think they lose both. Get on early. Fair enough. Olivia Reed, the $31 Redo donation. He's a Broncos fan in the chat. Get around you, Olivia. Thank you very much for the $31 Redos. It says, I signed a petition to Axe Klein this morning. That's how done I am. Also, everyone can shut up about Jesse now and why he doesn't get a run over Katapani. Also, I want to give props to Mr. Ricky. What a start he has had. Jordan Ricky was really good. Jesse Arthurs was not good. And Katapani had some big moments, but also was directly the result of one of the Cowboys' tries. I thought that Olivia, I ask you though, as a Broncos fan, you can acknowledge though that Broncos were not the only team copping bad calls last night. Like again, Broncos copped awful calls, but also the Cowboys copped just as equally awful calls in that game. So it was a matter of whoever won had to beat the ref to do it, but whoever lost, the ref was a direct implication of it, really. But either way, I agree with most of your comment, and I think Jordan Ricky has had a really impressive start this season. But thank you very much for the donor, Olivia. Broncos 2-4 would play Tigers, Bulldogs, Roosters, Warriors, and Manly 2-9 maybe. No, I don't know about that. I don't know about 2-9. 23 Hawaii says, I believe the Raiders are going to win today. Maybe a close game, probably 2016. It's actually funny that a lot of people are getting on the Raiders here. Royal Grand Majesty says, I hope the Panthers, Storm, and Broncos miss the 8 this year. Oh, yes. Yes, the Panthers are missing the 8, mate. They lose one game, and now I hope the Panthers miss the 8. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Cosrip says, still 20 weeks left. Cleary could do an ACL next week, where, touch wood, that doesn't happen. Please refrain from saying that in the chat, man, because I don't want to imagine that an ACL comes for a player of anyone, let alone for Nathan Cleary. We don't want to, even put that out into the air, so please don't make comments like that. 23 Hawaii says, Roosters win against the Sharks. Win is. I know your intention wasn't bad. Which is why I won't time you out, but just let's cool off in regards to that one. Aspect says, hey fans from clubs, as a Dragons fan, I'll be nice and offer our one and only Kyle to you guys, highest bidder wins, any takers. So, you know how I didn't time you out because I understood your intention? Well, I'm timing Aspects out, because that was a waste of time reading that comment. 23 Hawaii says, Roosters fan, I just want to beat the Sharks tonight. We'll see. Sando says, Victor and Spence back tonight, let's go. Yeah, we'll be live for it. It's going to be a good game. Sharkies and the Roosters. Sharkies and the Roosters, and hopefully that one goes down to the wire, even though I think the Sharkies might be able to sneak that one. It's going to be a toughie. Ibrahim says, Aspects no, because he's so good they scored 18 points this week with Flanagan, but last week they scored 0 points against Cowboys without him. You Dragons fans are so lucky. Unfortunately, last night's Broncos game with the Broncos-Cowboys, and then you look at the Dragons versus Cowboys, you're just like, are we shitting now? Are we shitting me? Like, the Broncos with, their whole team out have just gone and scored 31 points against the Cowboys. You scored 0. How did you score? The Cowboys this year have been diabolical defensively. The Cowboys this year... Look at these scores. The Cowboys are giving up 28 points to the Knights, 44 points to the Tigers, 16 points to the Titans, 24 points to the Storm, 31 points to the Broncos, 0 to the Dragons. How do you not score a point against the Cows? They're an awful defensive team. How are they not scoring a point against the Cowboys, the Dragons? It's insane. But I think... that's why I wanted to ask him, but I think what really did us was our captain being getting binned the first 12 minutes, minus my thoughts on the tackle. As a captain in a big game like that, you got to do better. I 100% agree with that. What I will say is, I think the biggest call that I have a gripe with that probably impacted that game the most significantly was the no try when they said Gehamachi Basaki impacted the jump ball. Scott Drinkwater's one was absolutely a penalty, and there's no argument about it. But the Gehamachi Basaki one, it was insane. It was insane that they called it a no try. For the Broncos there. But ultimately, what's done is done. The result has happened, and you can't do anything about it now. So we move on, and hopefully we get a good game here between South and the Raiders. So the Raiders are running out onto the field here, lads. Give me your score predictions. Try scorers today, I'm going to quickly run through it because the game's about to start. Try scorers today, I'm going to go back line for the Rabbitohs. I'm going to back in a bit of Trell. I'll back in a little bit of Trell, and then for the forwards, I will take on Keon Koloamatangi. Yes. Oh, Dave hasn't scored yet, though. Dave hasn't scored yet. I'll go I'm going to go Keon. I'm going to go Keon, not Dave. But Dave hasn't scored yet for the Rabbitohs. Raiders, I will back in a little bit of Ethan Strange. He hasn't scored a great deal this year. I'll go Ethan Strange, even though those halves concern me right now. And then I'm going to go Hudson Young. He needs to turn up. He needs to be the guy for the Raiders today. He really does. He needs to be the guy for the Raiders today. Cosip says, hey, no need to kick us Dragons fans when we're down. Yeah, but it's a crazy thought process, Cos. Like, it's something we've really got to look at and be like, are we serious? Like, are we serious right now? Like, are we serious right now? Seriously. Are we serious? Scott says, Dragons fans saying they want Flano gone. Mate, everyone's been saying we want Flano gone forever. And, well, at least for the last year and a half. This is no new thing with Dragons fans, but it's also no new thing in regards to anybody who has, like, a neutral perspective. Nobody wants Flano with the Dragons. It's so obvious that they need to move on from him. Does that sort all their problems out? No. Does that completely rectify the Dragons they go and win the premiership? Absolutely not. But it's time to go. It is time to go. 23 Hawaii says, trust you, Dragons are probably going to win more than 6 games, trust. Oh, I don't know where. I would love you to tell me how they're going to win 6 games. So anyway, it will be the Rabbitohs receiving the ball here, and Keon Koloamatangi brings it out to the 15 on first tackle. Raiders kick it off. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Let's refresh this this live score. And we are underway with the Rugby League Day, son. Underway with the Rugby League Day. Second tackle here for the Rabbitohs, and they'll be at the 15. Bailey says, was Dragons just missing that key play to motivate the boys at the back end of the game? Well, they're missing right now. There's a lot that they're missing, man. Third tackle for the Rabbitohs at the 33. They're missing pace. Koloamatangi brings it to the 45. That was 4 tackles. Sorry, now it's 5th tackle 45. They're missing pace. They're missing creativity. They're missing a cool head. You know, they're missing that experience in the halves. Daniel Atkinson is not experienced playing the halves, and Flanagan should be, but don't get me started. Yeah, look, they were missing a guy that you're referring to there, but also that wasn't the only issue. Manly were very beatable yesterday. Very beatable. Again, the Dragons came back from 16-0 down and just still found a way to lose, unfortunately. Second tackle now for the Raiders. Now third tackle. I bring it to the 30, and that'll be Jed Stewart. Yeah, Silvery told teammates he is gone. Oh, Jaden Stewart's gone, is he? Koloamatangi must be regretting it, eh? Like, he must really be regretting signing. No offense, Dragons, but he must be. Fifth tackle now at the 40. I had faith, even though I'm a Roosters fan, they got to believe. Who are you talking about? Ethan Strange will boot that ball up, and the Rabbitohs are going to grab this ball at 10. Not a fantastic crowd over here in Perth. I will be honest, I don't understand why they take the games to Optus. Perth is a building area for rugby league. You're nowhere close to even being anywhere of any relevance just yet. Why not take this game to where the Perth Bears are going to have as their home ground, which I believe is NRB Stadium, if I'm not wrong. Jai Gray's head kick comes off at the 25. Brandon Smith now to Jack Whiten, and White will be at the 40 on fourth tackle. Why not take it to the home ground of where the Perth Bears are going to be? It doesn't really make sense to me that they're using Optus Stadium here for a NRL doubleheader. I get it for Origin, but not that I agree with it, but I get it for Origin. But for an NRL doubleheader, it doesn't really make a great deal of sense to me. So they'll kick this ball down to KO Weeks at the 10 for the Raiders, because it's a poor crowd. It's a really poor crowd. KO Weeks to the 25. Olivia says, in regards to our hooker situation, I'm pretty sure the Broncos are going to fight the independent doctor in regards to Troy Pike because he passed his HIA protocol last night. Troy Pike? I'm not even too sure. Who's Troy Pike? Tom Starling to the 35. And he's still moving. He'll bring it to the 4. No, to the 40 on third tackle. Perth Bears playing at HBF Park. That's the one. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's the same place as the Perth Glory. It used to be NIB, isn't it? And now it's called HBF Park. They could have sold that out. Exactly right. Up to this horrible footy. Same thing with the MCG. It just doesn't make sense to me why they've decided to bring it here. Now Ethan Sanders is going to put that ball up into the air. The Raiders coming through. The chase is good. It's going to be knocked back, I think, even the Raiders. And then I think that's knocked on from the Rabbitohs. No, it's a knock on Raiders first. So it'll be South ball at the 10. Oh, this is signed with Para. Jaden Steele is signed with Para. Interesting decision. Looks like a Bulldogs crowd is crazy. Yeah, they let the ball bounce a lot nowadays in rugby league, and this last year they've really decided to let the ball bounce a lot. Corey Pakes. Oh, so that was just like a it just changed it to Troy Pike, did it? Optus is not NRL standard. Well, Optus is a great stadium, just not for rugby league. Same thing with the MCG. It's an incredible stadium. It's just not for rugby league. Cricket, AFL, beautiful stadium. Rugby league, no. You know, just like the SCG wasn't good for rugby league when the Roosters were having to play out of it. So I'll put that ball up here to about the 15. Good chase here from the Rabbits. Oh, it's a drop ball from the Raiders, but they're away. They're away. It's gone backwards. Oh, whoa. I thought Savali Tamana dropped this ball backwards, but he's called this as a knock on here. So this is going to be Rabbitohs ball 15 metres away from the line. And, oof. I just don't know if you can say that's a knock on. It's an interesting call. I can see both sides of it. Like, he's facing backwards. He does bring it into himself, but then it comes into his own shoulder and then goes backwards off of his own shoulder. Ref let it play on. I'm surprised that they've called that as a knock-on. But anyway, Rabbitohs with the ball here at the 12. Give it to Jai Gray. Jai Gray at the 15 to Latrell Mitchell. Mitchell gets it to Jai Gray with an offload. He'll then get it off to David Fafita. And there's a penalty here to the Rabbitohs for some reason. Offside. Offside. Why is it not just a 6 again? Why is it not just a 6 again? Inside 10 metres, the tackle wasn't made. I don't understand why it wasn't just 6 again. Trey Horn says Bunny's coming to smoke that Raider pack. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I really don't know about that, but we'll see. As we says, Lagan, yes, when tickets were $5 and acting like rabbits wasn't a big part of it too. Oh, tickets were $5 for this, was it? No, it'd be definitely more for Optus. Latrell Mitchell, he's going to be getting this. Oh, he's strong, taken down 1 metre out from the line here. Lagan says, relax, Mitchell, you only sell out 20,000 seated stadiums. We broke the crowd record last year. Oh, it's very easy to respond to you with a slap. I'll let somebody else try and think of it, but like it's very easy to respond to you with that one, Lagan. Very, very, very easy to respond to you. Jai Gray, he's at the 10, and it'll be 9 metres out from the line, third tackle. That's a very easy comment to reply to. Give it out to Cameron Murray, and Tavita Totola is going to be 12 metres away from the line, fourth tackle. Going to need some defence here, Raiders. Brandon Smith and Cody Walker. Tallis Duncan, 2 metres away from the line, fifth tackle. Back to Brandon Smith, then across it to Cody Walker, to Jamie Humphreys. Oh no, that was awful. That was awful. And the Raiders are going to get the ball to the 8. That was a bad knock on. That was a bad. Well, they said that's first tackle, so that must have been a slight little kick. He must have got a touch of his boot on the ball there. Yeah, Brandon Smith, first game back here today, Josie Pass. First game back. So Raiders, Simi Sasangi, they've already started off, and that's a high tackle. They're very grateful for that one, man. They've started off pretty underwhelming here, the Raiders, but they'll definitely take that high tackle penalty. Charles says, Raiders, a dual win. Yeah, I've gone the Raiders in an upset here, but the Rabbitohs have a right to go and win it. I'm just not convinced on their halves, but the Raiders are due a win, but they haven't looked stellar in this opening 8 minutes. Murray trying to do his best Sloan impression. That is a high tackle. Feels like I hardly hear much about the Cheese since he left the Storm, because he was a Storm system player. He wasn't fantastic at the Roosters, and he hasn't been fantastic here, but he's also been injuries and plus off-field scenarios that have hurt his career post-Melbourne. So the Raiders, they're 35 metres away. It's Zach Hosking. He gets it to Tom Starling. Starling off to Joe Tarpany. And Joe Tarpany is going to be 25 metres away from the line. Tom Starling to the left-hand side. Off to Morgan Smithies. Smithies to Adam Mariota. And Adam Mariota will be 10 metres out from the line for tackle. Raiders, here's a big chance. Here's a big chance. They go Tom Starling, Ethan Sanders, out the back to Strange. Strange goes Simi Sasangi. He'll be taken down, fifth tackle at the 8. They're going to have to kick this ball across the left-hand side here. Gets it across to Sanders. Sanders will put that ball up. Kick is okay. Knocked back here from the Raiders. Hudson Young kicks his ball through. Ends up being a good kick, which is going to be a dropout. That's really good there from Hudson Young. And that's going to end up being a dropout here from the Rabbitohs to the Raiders when there was kind of a bit of nothing happening there. Good scramble defense from the Rabbitohs, but ends up being a pretty good kick here from Hudson. That's a really good grubber. It forces Campbell Graham to go back into the end goal, and there's no chance of getting him out. Jesus, salary cap sponge sat on the sideline since he left Melbourne. Well, he is the starting Rabbitohs hooker, and I do feel like he's going to long-term benefit this club, but he's not the Melbourne Storm hooker that we were used to. Trell Mitchell gets a decent kick away there, but the Raiders will get it at the 22. Latrell Mitchell is probably the best short kickoff, short dropout player in the league for mine. I think that. Hudson Young is going to bring this ball to the 15, second tackle. Who would you say is better at short dropouts than Latrell Mitchell? Typically he'll make it really competitive for his own players. They're 10 metres away from the line, third tackle. 10 minutes gone here in the first half here, folks. 30 minutes to go of the first half. Hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. Tom Starling gets it to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany is 5 metres out from the line on four tackle. 5 metres out, Tom Starling. He'll go out to Ethan Sanders. Sanders then off to Ethan Strange. Strange is going to step. He's going to run it himself here. He's still pushing, and he'll be taken down 5 metres out. Fit tackle. All right. And 6 again. That's a massive 6 again here for the Raiders. Massive 6 again. Raiders are 3 metres out from the line. First tackle. Tom Starling. He'll get it out to Ethan Sanders. Sanders then off to Ko Weeks. Ko Weeks, Sebastian Chris. Good rush-up defence there from Jack Whiten. He's been so good defensively so far this year, Jack Whiten. Unbelievable stuff. They get it to Ethan Sanders, then off to Joe Tarpany. He just runs this ball straight up to the 5. This is good defense from the Rabbitohs right now. This is really good defense at the moment. Tom Starling, he'll get it to Adam Mariotta, and Mariotta is going to be 5 metres away, 4 tackles. This is good scramble defense. It's good stuff. Tom Starling to Sanders. Hudson Young taken down 4 metres away from the line. That was a real big-time run, but great defense again. Raiders, Ethan Sanders kicks the ball through, chased through by the Raiders, drop out. Wow. Again, the defense from South Sydney is great, but Hosking is rampaging through there, and Trell's going to have to knock it dead. Mitchell says, Cleese Haas is better. He's so good, he's unable to take them because he's just too good. That's true. Yeah, Cleese Haas is the best short kickoff, short dropout man in the league. But he's actually not playing tomorrow, unfortunately. I believe he's out, and we're seeing Curtis Moran coming in for the start. So Trell Mitchell kicks his ball at the sideline. It's not a bad kick there. It gives him a chance, but the Raiders do pick up Hudson Young, and he'll take this ball to the 25 on first tackle. Hi, buddy from Melbourne. Bulldogs put Panthers flame out, and Cowboys rode those Broncos. New Manly World wanted Dragons to win Raiders today, and my number one team win Warriors. Minty, there was just so much going on in that comment that there's a lot going on. Oh, Hudson Young will lose the ball as he had a big hole that he was looking to run through, but Jamie Humphries was about to make the tackle anyway. But look, the Rabbitohs are just defending really, really well right now. Scotty James, the $5 donation, says, Malaysia trip donation. You helped me last year with my multi. I apologise with all the Broncos questions. I don't know if they make the 8 or not. You're all right, man. Like, you can ask the question, but it's just like you need to... If you're going to ask me the question, you need to kind of listen to what I'm responding with, right? So... It's not the question that is annoying. It's the repetitive of pretty much the same question, just spun in a different way. So it just feels very repetitive for me to respond to the same thing over and over again when I've already kind of given you the answer to what I'm believing. And I will tell you what is likely from right this very second, but also it is what you're talking constantly about the end of the season when we've only seen 5 to 6 rounds. Once we get to the 7 rounds, we'll have a really good picture about how teams are playing. Right now, we haven't necessarily seen that much yet, so it's good right now. But again, people, oh no, Jai Gray's clutching on his leg here. God bless him. Oh no, Jai Gray's gone down. Jai Gray's gone down. They're going to have to put Latrell to the fullback, which is not a great sign for the Rabbitohs. He's going down here badly. Oh no, you hate to see this for Jai Gray. Oh, it's his shoulder, I think. Jack White will get this ball to the 40 on 4 tackle. It looked hard at first, but then it just got progressively worse. But anyway, thank you for the donation, Scott. Fit tackle now to 45. Yeah, shoulder. It's like he grabbed at his leg first, but then maybe it's displaced pain because then he definitely comes down with his shoulder after that. The Raiders get this ball through Savelio Tamale, and Tamale, he's getting monster today. They've stripped the ball. Yeah, it's a penalty. That's a strip. Jet says, I got hepatitis listening to you read that comment. Mate, I got hepatitis reading that comment. It was just, there was so much going on. waiting. Okay, we're back on the way. So anyway, what I was saying was Jai Gray injured. So that means that Latrell goes to fullback, I would say. Hubner comes on for Gray, but he's obviously not going to fullback. So I'm assuming Trell fullback and then centre maybe Tallis Duncan or Dave, but more so Tallis Duncan. Strange. Oh, that's an intercept by Latrell Mitchell. He's away. He's at the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40. Oh, he's looking for an offload, but he's taken down to the 45. Good stuff there by Trell, because otherwise the Raiders would have scored. Cody Walker gives it to David Fafita, and David Fafita brings this ball to the 45 now on second tackle. I thought it was my headset. Well, it's working now, right? The sound's working now, yeah? So Rabbitohs will be third tackle here at the 40. Because it's probably AC joint with the collarbone connects to the shoulder. Mitchell says to Scott, no, the Broncos aren't the only team in the comp. For someone that apparently hates them, he sure loves talking about them. Look, that's a good... It's not too bad of a comment, Scott. You are pretty obsessed. As a Titans fan, I know you are. You are pretty obsessed with the Broncos. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. So fifth tackle here at the 35. 25, sorry. Kalamatangi rolls it back to Cody Walker. He kicks his ball through. Not a bad kick, but the Rabbitohs will take him down at the 3. 3 metres out here from their own line for the Raiders. Yeah, Latrell will go fullback. You would assume Ibrahim. Well, who else would go there? There's nobody else that you could really put there. It'd have to be Trell, and then you'd have to put either Tallis Duncan or Dave into the centres. And Latrell is actually... No, it's not Latrell. Yeah, Latrell's on Dave's side, so I guess they'd actually probably shift Dave to the centres. Hudson Young here, they're struggling for metres, wow. And they'll get this ball to the 20 on 4 tackle. The Raiders are really struggling for metres at the moment. Tom Starling goes out to the right to Morgan Smithies, and Smithies, good run to the 30. I do feel like you've got to start to think about bringing on Corey Horsburgh. I think he would bring in a really good offloading game in this game for the Raiders. Fafita is into the centres. Yeah, because he's on the same side as Trell, so that's why. If it was the other side, it would have been Tallis, but Fafita is on the same side as Trell, so he's gone to the centres, which is an interesting prospect. He definitely could score his first try. But Alex Johnson is probably going to suffer because of that, because Dave's not going to really be passing that ball to the wing. Third tackle now at the 50. Commentary saying that Tallis Duncan's gone to the left centre. No, Tallis Duncan is left centre. No, you're wrong. No, Tallis Duncan is left centre. So that means the back row must be... Did they bring on Hubner to put into the back row for Tallis Duncan to go to centre? So what's Dave playing then? Because Tallis is... Dave's playing his back row. Oh no, Trell, that's bad. That's bad from Latrell. So the Raiders get the ball at the 33. So Tallis is playing centre. Dave is staying back row. So now you've got a Dave Fafita into Tallis Duncan into Alex Johnson. Johnson will suffer today because of this. Trell has gone to the fullback. He's made a mistake here. That means that the right-hand side, I would assume, is... Maybe they've put Kolamatangi to back row and they've put Hubner into the front row. I think that could be a shout. It could be not a bad shout, but I don't know. I haven't seen the right side of the field just yet. So first tackle now for the Raiders at the 35. Graham says, nice commentary from St. Helens fan. Appreciate you, Graham. I was actually going to stream the Super League this year. We stream every single game of Rugby League here. I want to do the Super League. It's just so difficult for me because of the time zones, obviously. Good run here from Ethan Strange. He'll get away from a couple of tackles. He'll bring this ball now to the 50 and then slam down on third tackle. I wanted to do the Super League this year, but it's a little bit in the too hard basket because it means that you're streaming games like every day at like 12 or 2 a.m. on weekends anyway. Ethan Sanders, here's a good run. He'll bring this ball to the 30 now on fifth tackle. Who do you want to win tonight? I couldn't care less who wins tonight. I just want good games. Tom Starling, Simi Sasangi. It's fifth tackle, mate. What are you doing, Raiders? They get taken over the sideline at the 15. What are you doing? Why are so many teams taking the fifth tackle? I don't understand it. Oh, here we go. Jai Gray. AC joint. You're right, Cos. He's in a lot of pain. I doubt he's going to come back on. Yep, his afternoon is done. His afternoon is done. Why do you throw that pass? Steve Wonder seen that coming. Lagan says, aren't you allowed to use 18th and 19th man if there's an injury? Edward Cosey's a fresh winger there. Put him right wing. Oh, an error off of the first tackle of the Rabbitohs. The Raiders at the ball at 20. So you're right, Lagan, but only for concussions. So if it's like a serious foul play, yes. But if it's 3 concussions in a row, then you're able to use when you're 18th or 19th. It's not just any injury. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like free will kind of deal. If it was foul play, I believe yes. But other than that, it's 3 HIAs. Oh, Joe Tarpany's still going here. They haven't said this is held. Oh, no, they have. Oh, I thought they said it wasn't held. Ethan Sanders, short ball to Zach Hosking, and Hosking's going to be 5 metres out from the line, third tackle. Again, the scramble defence for the Rabbitohs today has been good. Tom Starling to Joe Tarpany. Bit of a wasted play, that one. Fourth tackle, nothing going on there. Go down to the left-hand side. It's fourth tackle. They'll get it across now to Sanders. Sanders goes in himself. Oh, scramble again for the Rabbitohs is good. 2 metres out. Fifth tackle. Tom Starling kicks it through. Hudson Young. Try time for the Raiders. Hudson Young comes through like a rocket, son. Huddy Young. Huddy Young. Well, there was my try scorer today. Huddy Young does get on. I want to see the offside here. I want to see the offside, but there might be... This at the moment, they've called it as a try for the Raiders. Let's see if he's onside or not. Sanders gets that ball to the 2. Let's see where Huddy Young is. Oh, he's onside by a mile, Cosrips. Oh, he's onside by a mile, which is impressive, because I would have slightly agreed with you. He's onside by a good meter, bro. Like, that's actually insane. That's actually insane. Huddy Young has just slapped that. Again, I don't think that you're wild for assuming that was offside. That's how impressive that try was, that Hudson Young timed that absolutely perfectly. I captained him on Supercoach, by the way. I did go against Keanu, even though I love my boy. Still got him in my team. There we go. Hold on, I'm just going to message someone. Sanders just called him napping. Yeah, he did. Lagan says, yeah, right then. The interchange rule just seems too overdone. Should just be 14 and 17. Can be used for both injuries and tied players. And 18-19 can only be used for any injury. I think that this 6-man bench makes it too confusing. I honestly think that if you're going to bring on a 6-man bench, then I think we may as well have just made it 6 men straight, rather than having the niche, like HIAs needed, concussions needed, foul play. I just feel like casuals will struggle to understand it because, it's very difficult to even understand. For example, yourself who didn't even fully understand it, and that's not offense, but that's just saying, yourself who watches rugby league regularly had questions in regards to the ruling. So if you're questioning it, and I question it, and other people question it, well, shit, we're all in a bit of a shambles for trying to understand the game that we've watched all of our lives. So this is the issue with changing rules in the game, because we get even regular viewers of the game, passionate, consistent viewers of the game who are always struggling to understand the rules, and then if we're struggling to understand it, well, also the referees are struggling to get a complete hold of it as well. So that's not really a reference to the referees with this specific niche ruling, but it's just the point of the changing of the rules that are consistently putting the game behind, in my opinion. But anyway, 20 minutes to go here the first half, guys. Thumbs up and subscribe. Telecaster says, Latrell to fullback, Raiders' chances just improved, Raiders now odds on. Well, I tipped the Raiders here, Telecaster, but also, yeah, Latrell to the fullback does hurt them. And especially now that left edge for the Rabbitohs is Dave Fafita into Tallis Duncan into Alex Johnson. Johnson will suffer. He's not going to get as much good ball. Tallis Duncan's either not going to pass it, or David Fafita's not going to pass it. So it's basically 100 to 1 odds that Alex Johnson's going to get the ball at any time here. It's like 100 to 1 odds, nearly. It's 100 to 1 odds that Alex Johnson will receive the ball at some point. So they'll be Raiders now at the 35. Horsburgh still not on the field just yet. Tom Starling, he'll go off to Joe Tarpany, which is actually an ominous sign for the Rabbitohs. Zach Hosking, he'll get this ball now. Oh, he's lost the ball, and there's going to be a mistake from the Raiders. Mistake from the Raiders. Rabbitohs get it. The Rabbitohs do get it. What is he on now? Huddy Young is already on 74 points. Oh, no, sorry. That's as captain. I was going to say, that's crazy. That's crazy if he's already on that. 18 minutes to go in the first half. Sanders got a napping. All right. So Rabbitohs will go on to the attack. 40 metres out. You'd hope if you're a Rays fan that gives you a bit of confidence, because that was a really nicely worked try. I kind of forgot to set my captain for draft for this whole time. How do you forget to set your captain for draft? For the whole time? Are you talking about this weekend, or are you talking about the whole season? If the whole season makes no sense. But if you're talking about this week, then I can understand maybe. So third tackle, Brandon Smith off to David Fafita, and Fafita's going to run this ball to the 13 now on fourth tackle. Don't forget, guys, we've got Roosters Sharks after this into the Storm versus the Warriors later on today. They've got Cameron Murray at the 10. He'll get it at the back. Jamie Humphries bubbles it. Koloamatangi gets it. And Koloamatangi then loses the ball. And the Raiders get it. Penalty to the Rabbitohs. I mean, every single time Raiders score first, they lose. Did they score? They scored first last week against the Knights, didn't they? Yeah. I think they did. Then he says, why isn't the game on 9 now? Because these games are never on free-to-wear on Saturday. The only time that the games on Saturday are free-to-wear is in the finals. The only free-to-wear games you'll receive is the 7:30, 8 p.m. time slot Friday night, the Thursday night game, and the Sunday afternoon game. There's only 3 free-to-wear games every week. And that's been a thing since the dawn of time. Keon Koloamatangi, he's going to be 5 metres away here from the line. They go out to the left. Knock on from the Rabbitohs. And it will be Ko Weeks who brings this ball out and takes it to the 15. Great run from Ko Weeks. The Rabbitohs are looking a little bit of a mare, but it's coming down to the halves. It's coming down to the halves. Spoke about it. Samisa Sangi to the 25. What a drop the ball-a-thon. It is, at the moment, close to a forward pass there, but it's going to be Savelia Tamale who brings this ball out here to the 35 on second. Oh, he's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. It's Rabbitohs ball at the 40. It is a drop ball-a-thon right now, Brendan. Laurie says, "Hi, Blaze. How's everyone? Let's go. Rooting for the nephew, Tavita Totola, for his first try of the season. It'll be nice to see." Well, the Rabbitohs right now, they're in a bit of a shambles. Raiders not fantastic, but also the Rabbitohs definitely not fantastic, and the Raiders at least lead. So that is first tackle here for the Rabbitohs at the 25. Now it's second tackle at the 20. 23 who I said I should have put Drinkwater as captain for draft. I have him so unlucky from me. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't have in a game like last night. Quick passing. Johnston's actually going to get the ball. 100 to 1 odds just got up. Johnston offloads it. Cody Walker in the corner. Well, that's actually worked out pretty well here. Like, this ball's all over the shop. It just comes from just drop ball central. Johnston has offloaded the ball here, and it's hit the grass, but it's just bounced perfectly into the hands of Cody Walker. And it's try time. You need to compete with 3 screens. One for KO, one for YouTube, and the last one for Supercoach. Yeah, 100%. It was a good offload there from Latrell Mitchell, who was back into the centres, which is why Johnson was able to... He's attacking from the centre, which is why Johnson was able to receive the ball there, because Talis Duncan was nowhere close. But this is a good try. It's a good try there for the Rabbitohs, and great offload there from Alex Johnston. Fantastic little offload there from Alex Johnston, which will help their cause massively. Massively, son. Massively. Sana says, if every round was free for Magic Round, it would determine a lot of people. It would determine a lot of people to go, potentially. Are you saying deter? If every round was on free to wear, I do feel like you would see every game was on free to wear. I do feel like you would see even less of a crowd, yes. 40 Dad says, surely the Trolls passes forward. No. 40 Dad, you watch Rugby League. And you're asking about forward passes? Are we serious? Footy Dad, let's be serious now. Let's be real. This is a very serious and dedicated analytical channel here. Forward passes don't exist nowadays unless it's the Gold Coast Titans. Forward passes don't exist. So it's really brazen of you to believe that the referees are going to call a pass forward. Really brazen. You know, it's bold. I love it. I love it. But questioning a forward pass call? What do you think this is? You think this is like NRL or something? Rugby League, you wish. It's Rugby League, son. Yes, Sundo, fair enough. I thought it wasn't the best idea. Walker's haircut looks like an 80s Sheila's muff. What on earth did I just read out, Brenton? Footy Dads is my bad. I deserve a time out for that one. Yeah, well, you get it even without the... I will say, Footy Dad, usually when people deliberately put the S on the end of Storm, they get 10 minutes. But I'm going to, just because it was funny, I'm going to give you a 5. But it was funny. But typically, when you do deliberately put the S at the end of it, it will be a 10-minute timeout. Forward passes don't exist unless the pass was backwards. Well, Mitchell, we don't usually see any backwards passes anymore in Rugby League. Third tackle, they don't exist. Koloamatangi, he'll bring this ball to the 45 on fourth tackle. Royal Gramercy says all the NRL games are put on YouTube after a few days. AFL doesn't even have that. Yeah, that's true, but also that's not kind of what we're talking about. But I don't get into this AFL versus NRL argument because I like both of the sports, and I feel like people are able to watch both of the sports and enjoy both of the sports without having a rivalry. Look at Americans and the way they follow their game. Oh, Tamala has been rough at the back. It's gone backwards. It'll be first half with the Rabbitohs, Raiders at the 5. He's been rough at the back here today. I hate it. I hate this constant argument between NRL fans and AFL fans, and it's from everyone. It's from NRL fans and it's from AFL fans. And they keep saying it's the other fans. It's like, no, it's not. It's both of you. But look at Chicago. You support the Cubbies or the White Sox, but you support the Cubbies, the Bears, the Blackhawks, and the Bulls. There's no rivalry there. You support your city. You know, you support your teams, no matter the sport. Same thing goes for New York. You're either a Giants or a Jets fan. I'm so sorry if you're either of those. The Raiders will kick this ball away from the 30 to the 15, where Alex Johnson gets it, and he'll bring this ball out to about the 30 on his own side of the field. You know, you either support the Giants or the Jets. I'm so sorry to hear that. You support the Rangers or the Islanders, I guess, in the hockey. You've got the New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets in the basketball, and then you're either a Yankees or a Mets fan. But, like, there's no rivalry between sports. There's no need for the rivalry between sports. You know, Dallas, they just love Dallas. It's not even about the actual team. It's about the city. Oh, knock on there from Trell. He's had some mistakes, and that's going to be a way for Sevelio Tamale with the try time. Why has he slowed down to put that ball over the line there? Oh, Cody Walker, shut your mouth. Settle down. What are you doing? What is Cody Walker doing? Why is he going nutso and, like... what happened just then with Sevelio Tamale? It's a try time for the Raiders, by the way. It's 10-4 with the kid to come off from a mistake from Latrell Mitchell. But Cody Walker, what's he doing? I don't understand why Sevelio Tamale stopped like that. But also, what's Cody Walker doing? Jonathan says no one is a Yankees fan. Hey, I'm a Cubbies fan, man. I back it. Not a fan of the Yankees, but there is unfortunately a lot of them. Unfortunately. I don't know why he stops like that, but I also don't understand why Cody Walker's being a knob here. Like, I don't understand why he's being a knob. Yeah, Ricky Stewart is having a crack at Sevelio here. Sevelio's had a really rough game. Like, this is going to make up for a rough game, but Ricky's having a slap up of him right now. I just saw the word effort being used as well. So, yeah. No, he's having a crack at him, commentary. You can see that he's having a crack. I don't understand what just happened with Sevelio Tamale. He just, like, stopped. He's not injured. I don't understand. Jonathan says, holy, a Cubs fan is almost worse, mate. You want me to sing Go Cubs Go for you, Jonathan? Listen, do you want me to sing Go Cubs Go for you? I'll do a private show just for you right now if you'd like. Baseball time is here again. Catch it all on double GN. You want to stamp your feet and clap your hands? Bump, 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 ba-dum, bump. Because guess who has the greatest fans, Jonathan? Cuzzer says Cody Walker said no, yes he is. Jonathan, who do you support here, champion? If you tell me Dodgers, I'm timing you out. If I see that you say the word Dodgers in this chat, I am timing you out. I will do it. Because I refuse. Astros, that's nearly a timeout worthy offence too. 12-4 here to the Raiders with 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. Did you like my singing voice there, Jonathan? I reckon you did. Cosip says, I'm a big NFL fan. I can't tell you my team, though, because they are literally the same position as the Dragons. Oh, no, it's not, is it? No, it's not. It's not like a Jets, is it? Mitchell has timed out for 60 seconds. Yeah, no, look, fair enough on the cheat shows there. Oh, Jonathan, you've ruined yourself, mate. Don't you talk to me about the Cubs. Don't you cat, talk about the Cubs to me. How dare you, Brewers fan? You're kidding me. You know what I used to always say on the show? I used to do baseball streams, and I might continue them at some point. First tackle of the Raiders, now second tackle of the 15. They're up 12-4. I used to do baseball streams, and I might eventually do them again. But I used to say that your fans, they sound like this. That's how Brewers fans, when I think of the word Brewers, I think of that's the sound of fans. But anyway, I prefer to hate on the Cardinals, obviously. Fourth tackle now at the 35. And Tom Starling. Are you actually from Milwaukee? Because that's interesting. If you're not from Milwaukee to support the Brewers is quite funny. I'm not having a crack, I'm just saying. And the Raiders will whack that ball up high in the air. Raiders chasing it through. Oh, it's a good take from Trell under pressure. First tackle for the Rabbitohs at the 28. I don't know if Corey Horsburgh is on the field yet. Oh, no, he is. He is on the field now, yeah. That's classic Cody Walker. I don't think he deserved a slapping. He still scored. No, I feel like Ricky's done the right thing there. By the way, I'm pretty happy that I heard that when the Storm Boys did their podcast, they said that Craig Bellamy didn't rip into him. He just kind of let the disappointment show, which is what I said would happen last week when people were saying that they deserve an uppercut in the sheds. I didn't think that was going to happen for Bellamy, and I was right. I think Ricky's done the right thing there because the effort. The try was off the back of an error from the Rabbitohs. It's like he picks the ball up and it's an easy try. But he also nearly screwed up a guaranteed try too. So I get why Ricky has had a crack at him. Respectfully too, though. Like, it's not like he's punched him in the face. The Rabbitohs offload the ball and the Raiders get it. They're away again. Noah Martin taken down to the 40. Jeez, the Rabbitohs making mistakes. They're just giving the Raiders the opportunity. I think he needed to tell him because I saw the word effort being used. Ethan Strange, great step, and he'll be taken out of the 45. He's still going. He gets the offload away to Corey Horsburgh, Hudson Young. Hudson Young's still going here. Hudson Young pushes off one, and he'll be at the 40 on second tackle. Now, I think it was necessary. Corey Horsburgh now. He'll get this ball to the 33. Andrew says he also dropped the ball off the kickoff, and Rabbits almost got to it. Yeah, he's not had a good game, Savella Tamale, but that was at least a try that he put that was an easy one. It was. Noah says at the 25, Tom Starling, Ethan Strange to Simi Sasangi, back on the inside of KO Weeks, and the Raiders, they are flying right now. It is 16 points to 4 with a kick to come. That was too easy for Canberra. And the upset is on the cards here, ladies and gentlemen. The Cubset is on the cards here. Oh, boy. Jonathan Brewer's unbelievable. Mo says, my brother lives 5 minutes walking distance from Wrigleyfield. He lives in Wrigleyville, does he? That's good stuff. He'd be having a good time. Wrigleyville's a great place. Wrigleyville is a great place. If I had the opportunity, I would move to Chicago. I would. But it is very expensive. So 6.5 minutes to go here the first half. It is 16-4 with the kick to come. It's about to be 18-4 in a moment now. Cosmic says, I started following them when Jarvis Landry was drafted to Miami. Oh, God bless me. I'm so sorry to hear. Justin Sunner says, last week, 8 from 8. This week, 1 from 4. Did you take the Rabbitohs in this game, did you? Still time, but, like, it's not looking great for him. Tamale saw Terry Rozier get cut today and must have one of Terry Rozier still existing is amazing. Mitchell says, an Astros fan is disgraceful. You're right. You are right. They weren't heavy underdogs, and if this was game number 1 of the season, Raiders are a better team. Well, Just Poker again, I tipped them. So you're preaching to the choir here, brother. You're preaching to the choir. Noah says, how did Jai Gray get injured? AC joint, mate. So it was looking fine, and then unfortunately just went down really badly. And yeah, he won't be back here today, but it was his AC joint that he did in, unfortunately, which is a real rough one. Real rough one there. So 6 minutes left in the first half. Such an awkward past of weeks. It was, but the Raiders about to lead by 14 points. Hello. Touch wood for Jai Gray. Hope he's okay. Absolutely. The Raiders get the kick, and it is 18 points to 4. 6 minutes to go here of the game, of the first half. I knew when I woke up and saw the sunshine this morning that South would lose. What a great day. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day in Perth. 1959. But also, Just Poker, the underdog tag was fine. I didn't. The underdog tag for mine was fair, but I did tip the Raiders regardless. 5 minutes to go the first half. Give me 1 second here, guys. We're back. Yes, Sasangi's been playing incredible this season, by the way. Simi Sasangi, right now, has been one of the in-form centres in the entirety of Rugby League. Despite how bad the Raiders have been, he has been absolutely in form, man. Thank gosh he's not playing in the 5/8 like he did in the finals last year. Centres is his spot for sure. That is a... Oh, he nearly caught a penalty there for a late hit, but he ended up calling a knock-on from Zach Hosking. Cosmo says, I read that. Poker, how is it an upset? Rabbits are equal second and Raiders 1-4 because context matters, man. Context matters. Raiders still had the minor premiership last year and do still have a good team. It just hasn't been working out for them so far. Yes, the Raiders have been 1-4. Yes, the Rabbitohs are 3-1. But context does matter for mine. And whilst again I agree with them being underdogs, I can understand what he's trying to say as well. How's it in Thailand, Blaze? Set for a cyclone tonight, tomorrow in the North Island of New Zealand. Yeah, my mum's been telling me, she's in Fiji, my mum's been telling me that they've been going through a bit of a cyclone lately, but she said Cat 3, and I said walk in the park. If you've been through Cat 3, Fiji is so prepared for that kind of stuff nowadays. Yeah, God bless you. You'll be right. You'll be right. It'll be a breeze. Just be a sweet little breeze. Go for a surf. Rabbitohs right hand side. They're going for a surf down the wing. Oh, brilliant tackle from the Raiders, Ethan Sanders. Third tackle at 13. Latrell Mitchell. He'll get this ball across to Jamie Humphries. 6 again with the Rabbitohs. That's massive. 15 minutes out. Cody Walker goes to himself. Oh, my gosh. They're lucky. It's going to be a penalty to the Rabbitohs. There was a knock on here, but then Corey Horsburgh gets done for a penalty. Good to see the Roosters setting some really strong standards and allowing Radley to cheat his suspension. And Sunday's already bitten. Already bitten. Just because it's not enough games, man. Absolutely. See, Just Poker, you get it. You get what I'm talking about. This is why we reply the way we do. We say, whilst we fully understand and respect what's happening in the first 7 rounds of the season, it's still only halfway through round 6. Koloa Matangi, he is going to be 4 metres away here from the line with 3.5 minutes to go here the first half. First tackle for the Rabbitohs. They go to the right, off to Jamie Humphries. Humphries then. Lachlan Hubner. He's going to be at the 8. They go to the left, off to Cameron Murray. Hits the grass. This has happened a lot today. There's a mistake here from the Rabbitohs, and the Raiders get the ball to 22. Ah, dude, they've been all over the shop here today, the Rabbitohs. They have Simi Sasangi here with a great run to the 35 on second tackle. Peter says Raiders were incredibly lucky last year. This year, the ball just hasn't bounced to them. Won't disagree with that too, but I also think the Raiders were very deserving of their spot for last year. But also won't disagree overall with a lot of their games. They would be very grateful for the luck going to them. That's going to be Josh Papali'i out of the 35 on fit tackle. Who did I tell? I took the Raiders here, Denise. Not confidently, but I thought they had a good chance to get their second win of the season. Corey Horsburgh chasing this through, and he'll make the big tackle on Alex Johnson as he grabs it at the 13. 2.5 minutes left here. Is Latrell the fullback? Yes, Noah. Yes, he is the fullback. Well, who else would you put there? There's nobody else to put there. I know Alex Johnson played fullback for Papua New Guinea, but there's no... Johnson, the only reason he's playing fullback for Papua New Guinea is because they don't have anybody else. He's not a fullback. So, no, it makes absolute sense that they've chucked Trell back into it, even though I don't rate him as a fullback either. Beautiful day in Sydney, go Raiders. Yeah, Benny West, it's not in Sydney, though. This is Perth. This is in Perth, mate. Might be the most opposite place in the entirety of Australia to Sydney. Cody Walker, he'll offload the ball. Wow, actually great offload. David Fafita then kicks that ball through. Ends up in a really good kick. Will hit the post, and the Raiders will get it through Hudson Young. Hudson Young then pushes away from 1, and he will get taken down at the 5. But it's actually a really good kick there from Dave. Kyle Weeks on first tackle. They'll get it to Savelia Tamale. I really thought that Savelia Tamale's best attribute to his game was his work rate and his effort and his strong runs. I'm not seeing that right now. Andrew says, Blaze, are you ready for entertain us versus BKRsport tomorrow? No S at the end of it. Simi Sasangi's away. He's away. He's away. He's away. He's away. He's away. He's got Ethan Strange on his inside. Oh, pass the ball, selfish. Pass the ball, selfish. He gives it to Strange. Finally, they score easily if you had to pass it earlier. Simi Sasangi's still going here. He's got Hudson Young. Hudson Young again. Hudson Young out of the post. Bang! Hudson Young, 2 tries. That's my Supercoach captain, baby. Hunter Young with a second try right before half time. It's 22 to 4 with a kick to come. That is awful defending. Metal says, you finished your meltdown, Benny? Yeah, I don't... Benny, why are you having a meltdown in the chat in the last couple of games? Like, every game, it's like... every game... You're talking in the early part of this game about syringes and Shane Flano. You know, you've had meltdowns about the Panthers. You've had meltdowns about every team at the moment. You know, like, what's happening? Is everything okay, Benny? Are you okay? It's not are you okay day, but I still care about you, Benny. Are you okay? God bless you, son. Jesse says, pissing down here in Melbourne. Can't wait to sit and watch the Wars thrash the Storm and get rained on. Yes, Jesse. They've got a great, fantastic record in Melbourne. No, unbelievable stuff, Jesse. No, really do. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. So 22-4, going in half time. They're about to get a kick from right in front. Man, the Raiders are on tonight. Raiders are on, but the Rabbitohs are also well off, Just Poker. The Raiders are on, but the Rabbitohs are well off. So what does that mean that Huddy Young's on at half time? He's about to be on like 70 at half time. He's about to be on like 70. And it is 24 points to 6. 24 points to 4, sorry. At half time, they missed the conversion. So this is not looking good for South Sydney, and it's giving pretty strong vibes as to why we aren't convinced. And this is why I constantly revert back to saying it is only 6 rounds in. This is not an insult to any team. This is just saying there is a long season to go. And the Raiders are in second last. They've looked awful. The Rabbitohs, they're in fifth and they've looked great. But also, context matters. The part of the season matters. We haven't seen 7 rounds yet, which is what we look to seeing. It's not even 5 to 7 rounds anymore. It's 7 rounds. And this result makes sense pre-season. And right now, the Rabbitohs are going to need to really find themselves again, because otherwise, they're going to drop off quite a bit, actually. Right now, they're down by 20. They would go to -4 right now. No, -6 right now is what they would go to, which will put them on the Bulldogs. But then, if the Warriors and the Sharks win, they go down to 8th. But again, their points differential will be in the negative. And then if the Roosters were to get a big enough win, they could. But right now, the Rabbitohs have got to do a lot of soul searching, because this is not good at the moment. This is what I'm saying. It's not an insult to your team if I say that I'm not convinced yet. Cowboys, I am not convinced in you yet. Rabbitohs, I'm definitely not convinced in you yet. Raiders, I fully expected them to turn and to be a better team than what we've seen, but I don't think they win the comp this year. But that's why I put them down to 8th in my preseason. I've still got them around that point. They've still got a good enough team here. But it is early in the year. Does this mean Knights might not finish second? Andrew, I want to time you out, but I'm not going to do that because I love you, but also you're a Muppet. And you're our Muppet, but you're still a Muppet, absolutely. I really like the Knights. If there is a team in the top 8 right now, I'm about to get into the stats. If there is a team in the top 8 that I'm the most convinced in that isn't like a Panthers and whatnot, it actually, funnily enough, is the Knights. I do really like the way they're playing. Like, the Sharks haven't been undeniable, but they're improving. The Warriors have fallen off a cliff. The Bulldogs have won, one impressive game. The Rabbitohs are doing what we're doing right now. The Cowboys, for mine, look at the teams they're playing. The Knights have actually looked really good in their games. And the Tigers, I'm close to being there with them, but I want to see them go and beat the Knights tomorrow. But, like, if there's a blowout tomorrow, it'll tell you a lot about the team that got blown out. If there's a blowout tomorrow and the team that wins, it's like, well, it doesn't tell you everything, but it's a good sign. But the team that loses to a blowout tomorrow, that will tell you a lot about that Tigers or Knights outfit, in my opinion. But all right, let's get into Brendan timed out Andrew for 60 seconds. He doesn't want to jinx it. Brendan's a Knights fan, and the Knights fans timed you out for saying that because he doesn't want to jinx it. But anyway, I am defending the Knights. I actually really like them at the moment. However, let's get into the stats here at halftime, guys. So do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and don't forget we do still have the Roosters vs Sharks right after this in Perth, and then we also have the Storm versus the Warriors tonight. Before tomorrow, we'll also be live for Titans versus the Eels and the Tigers versus the Knights. But the Rabbitohs, they're on 4. Raiders are on 22. Did they get the kick? No, 24-4. Sorry, NRL hasn't updated it yet. NRL now has updated it. Beautiful. So Cody Walker, he got a try, but for the Raiders, it's Hudson Young, Sevalia Tamale, KO Weeks, and Hudson Young. He's got a double. Unbelievable stuff. Ethan Sanders with 4 from 4 for the Raiders, and like I said, 24-4. Now, the stats, 55% of possession has gone to the Raiders, Rabbitohs with 45%. I'm going to tell you right now, before even looking at the completion rate, I'm going to assume it's sub 65%, may even be close to 60% for the Rabbitohs, because they've made a lot of errors here today. There's been a lot of knock-ons, which is why they're losing. But possession-wise is 55% to 45% in Raiders' favour. Yes, I would be correct. Time of possession. Now, you want to look for 25 minutes here. 11 minutes and 19 seconds for the Rabbitohs. 14 minutes and 37 seconds for the Raiders. So that's really good. Well, it's not really good, but it's basically 26 marker, so it's healthy enough. You want to see at least 25 minutes of gameplay. And that's a healthy amount considering that we have seen 5 tries here too. So it means the game is pretty solidly paced for ball play. Completion rate, though. Wow. Both teams, 80% is what is needed. Both teams are below 70%. This is not good. 64% for the Rabbitohs with 11 from 17. That is awful. That is awful. 64% for the Rabbitohs, 11 from 17 is awful. Raiders at 68% is also really poor. 15 from 22. It's not like it's a massive improvement. Both teams have made a lot of knock-ons here, a lot of errors, and second half is going to be extremely key to see the difference here. Then you go to the runs-wise. 1 second. Hanks has just got here as Walker crying. Yes, we've already called him a knob once today because of his way he reacted to Savella Tamale scoring a try. So the answer to your question, Hank, is yes. Runs-wise, 80 runs for the Rabbitohs for 689 run meters. That's 111 run meters behind the 10 meters on average per run that they're looking for. Ultimately, 80 runs, you want to look for 800 run meters. They're at 689. Whilst the Raiders, they're at 99 for 906. So they are 84 meters behind the 10 meters on average per run that you're looking for. Which you would want to see them at 990. So it's 111 less for the Rabbitohs. It is 84 less for the Raiders. The Raiders on its pure merit are up by about 100, 230 right now. Yeah, 789, 889. They're up by about 220 metres on the Rabbitohs on its own merit, but also that's with 19 extra runs. You can't give the Rabbitohs the extra 10 metres per run on average. If you did, they'd still be behind. So they're down by 111 metres on it, but even if you gave them the extra 190 metres to equal out with the 10 metres average per run for the runs, they would still be behind. So the Rabbitohs are getting dominated in regards to the run metre department. Then you go to the post-contact meters. 243 for the Raiders, 205 for the Rabbitohs. So with 18 extra runs now, it is off by about 38, which is probably Rabbitohs' maybe slight favour there. I feel like Rabbitohs, if they got an equal amount of ball and weren't knocking the ball on so much, they would be around a similar area. So I think that's pretty equal overall. But on its pure merit, Raiders 243 to 205. Line breaks is 2-2, so both teams doing the same thing. Then we go to the tackle breaks, and this is where the game is being lost for the Rabbitohs. 9 tackle breaks for the Rabbitohs suggests great defense here from the Raiders. 22 tackle breaks for the Raiders suggest bad defense from the Rabbitohs. Average set distance, 25 metres and below is pathetic. Turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. Both teams are above 40. So 40.91 here for the Rabbitohs is great. And for the Raiders, they're 41.58. So it's only about 0.60 of a separator between the two there. They're both in the great category. However, what's this telling me? That the Raiders are dropping their ball earlier. And the Rabbitohs, when they're dropping the ball, it's a little bit later in the sets. Because otherwise that doesn't make sense. With the run meters overall here, it doesn't make sense that would be so close. So what that suggests, might not be right, but what it suggests, the Rabbitohs are knocking the ball on, making their errors later in the set, compared to the Raiders who are making their errors early in the set. Then we go to the average play the ball speed. This is a vast difference too. 3.19 below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.7 seconds play the ball speed for the Rabbitohs here is really slow stuff. That's really slow. That is not extremely slow, but like it's for the way that rugby league is played nowadays. This is really slow, man. And then 3.34 seconds for the Raiders is fast. That's in the 3.2 to 3.39 category. That's fast stuff. So it's fast to slow. And that's why you're seeing the Raiders getting that leg up every single time when they're getting the ball. And then we go to the offloads. It's 4-3 in favour of the Raiders here. You go to the forced dropouts. It's 2-0 to the Raiders. They put the pressure on. Kick defusal 60% for the Rabbitohs, 50% for the Raiders. And then we move to the effective tackle percentage. 87.26% here for the Rabbitohs, 90% for the Raiders. 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And 90% and above is basically perfect. The 87.26% is in the underwhelming for the Rabbitohs. 185 tackles made, which is getting up there for tackles made. on an average. And then 22 missed tackles is well up there. 15 to 17 is the average. They've missed 5 extra missed tackles on the highest of the average. And then the 5 ineffective tackles is, the average is 5 to 7. So they're on the lowest of the averages there. But 27 bad tackles with 5 tackles made is actually not abhorrent. But again, it is underneath the marker of 88% that you're looking for. And then we go to the Raiders on 90%. That's brilliant, man. It's perfectly on the dot, 90%. 162 tackles made, which is a pretty typical amount of tackles made. But wow, missed tackles 9. The average is 15 to 17. 9 missed tackles is only 6 missed is a massive 6 missed tackles less than the average. That is unbelievable. To not even make double-figure missed tackles in a half is really good stuff. But the ineffective tackles is what's hurting them a little bit here, because 9 ineffective tackles is 2 above the average of 5 to 7. So whilst they're incredible in regards to the missed tackles department, the ineffective tackles is taking that away from them. But again, they've still made quite a few tackles. So 18 bad tackles in the first half compared to 27. But the key is usually the missed tackles rather than the ineffective tackles. So 13 more missed tackles for the Rabbitohs, whilst the Raiders have had 4 more ineffective tackles. But again, that key stat is the missed tackles department. So Raiders defending really well. Rabbitohs not defending awfully, but also still not good enough. And then you go to the negative play. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 3 and under is really good. Don't even expect that here today. 4 to 6 is average. 7 above is awful. The Rabbitohs are at 7. That is pathetic. That is a lot of errors. The Raiders are at 8. The Raiders have made 8 errors in the first half when they lead 24 to 4. So you can't blame the errors here today on the Rabbitohs, because they're bad, but the Raiders have been worse with errors. It's 24 to 4. The Raiders have also conceded more penalties. It's 3-2 penalties against the Raiders. The ruck and fringes is 1-0 against the Rabbitohs. So this right now is telling me that the Raiders should go on with this, because they've made a lot of errors, more errors and more penalties conceded than the Rabbitohs. If you want to talk about infringements, it's 3-3. But more errors against the Raiders, more penalties against the Raiders. Their defense is better, but more ineffective tackles. The more forced dropouts. The playable speed is fast. The run meters are definitely in favour of the Raiders by a far margin. And the completion rate is pretty much the same. I'm really surprised here. I don't think the Rabbitohs win this game, even though the Raiders are known as the faders. Like they do typically lose this game. They usually find ways to lose, and despite the fact that they're up by this margin, I think they win this game. I tipped them before the game. Obviously, I tip them now, and I just feel like they go on with this and they get the job done. But there's a long way to go. If one team can score 24 in the first half, the other team can do it in the second half. We see it a lot as well. But I just feel like the Raiders will continue on with this one, and they're going to win this one quite well to get themselves back into the winner's circle and to put them in really good stead going into their game next week. Now, who do the Raiders play next week? The Raiders next week play the Melbourne Storm. They need, like I said, this is a desperate win. They need to win this game desperately. The Rabbitohs next week, they play the Dragons. So it's like if they lose this, well, you must win next week, but just saying, like it's getting to a point where you're just like, even though you're 3-1, if you lose this game, you're 3-2, and then if you gave the Dragons their first win of the season, you're 3-3. What was looking like a really good start of the year falls off a cliff, and now you're 3-3. You're like, oh well, there's questions now. Trey Horn says Rabbitohs should try a new strategy besides knocking the ball on the attacking end. Funnily enough, the Raiders have knocked the ball on more. Lucas says Knights looked bloody good, healthy too. They did, and they're not even healthy. Jesse says the Knights don't have Ponga or Brown on the green either. Wonder if that helps or hinders when they return. Well, Fletcher Sharp for mine is who's looked the best for them. I don't even feel like it's Dylan Brown. I feel like Dylan Brown's going... This actually probably helps a lot of the mindset, because I don't feel like Dylan Brown was key and crucial to the Knights' early point of the season before he got injured anyway. I think it was more Fletcher Sharp in that first game and Cameron Ponga as well. I think Ponga is the biggest out of those guys, but also Fletcher Hunt's been doing fine. But you add Ponga as that fullback with Fletcher Sharp being... I find that Fletcher Sharp is the best player at the Knights right now. I believe that Fletcher Sharp is the best player at the Newcastle Knights right now, is what I would say. Would anyone disagree? Big Homie Dave says, G'day, Mr. Streamer. Another beautiful day for Rubber Luke. Beautiful day, Rubber Luke. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Peter says, I want to see the Tigers versus the Panthers, but it's round 14, so it's going to be Origin affected. Yes. Is that Origin affected? It's in the middle of Origin, but also is it Origin affected, though? Round 14. So round 14 is the 7th of June. So Origin... where is it? State of Origin is the 17th of June. So, and the first one is 27th of May. So no, it won't be. That'll be the odd week where everyone's allowed to play. It's a week and a half prior to Origin 2, and it's a week and a half after Origin 1. So no, that won't be Origin impacted. Cosgrove says, yeah, we've seen a Walker meltdown, only a minor one, but by his standards, though. Yeah, but yeah, it's typical Walker. Doc says, go Rabbits, we still have the second half. You do. You do. But the Raiders, they do look pretty good here, and the Rabbitohs don't. And yet the Raiders have had more penalties against them, and also have made more knock-ons, and yet they're leading by 20. But anyway, says, Dragons fan, nothing worse than having a power play on your team. Gutherson has to go. Drink water, please. I do think that Drinkwater would be a massive signing for them, attacking wise. Yeah, best thing I've heard you say about it. Yeah, get it, cos 64% of the try predictor for the Raiders. So back the Rabbitohs in for a try then, because that usually gets it wrong. Trey Horn says Rabbitohs are losing because they can't score when they get to the line. Hopefully they can turn it around. They're losing because their errors are ridiculous at the moment, and they're more crucial errors than what the Raiders have been doing at the moment. Peter says, okay, that makes sense. I thought anyone in reserve grade would do almost anything to play first grade. Oh, Cosgrove says Fuller wanted... Let me go to the start of the conversation. Peter says, Fuller turned down the Dragons. I think Drinkwater will have doubts about joining the Dragons. Also agree. Cosgrove says, Fuller wanted this year and next year. Dragons would only offer this year. That's why he turned it down. Drinkwater's been giving permission to negotiate with rival clubs. So second half of Saturday, guys, hit that like button and subscribe. It's an interesting one because if I'm Drinkwater, I think the Cowboys ultimately are a stagnant clump for a while. Whilst they've had a positive start to the season, contextually look at the games they're playing. I don't think it sustains. But I just feel like Scott Drinkwater leaving makes sense for him. Dragons, though, it's like, yeah, okay, well, they're getting Koloamatangi, which would be good. And then getting Drinkwater would be good. But they're still lacking in halves. Flanagan's not the answer. Atkinson had a good game yesterday, though. He was pretty good in the 6. But Flanagan's not the answer. He just isn't. So the Dragons need to show direction. They need to show that there is a reason for Drinkwater to sign. What would be, if you were the coach, or if you were the organisation, what would be your way of selling Drinkwater to come to the club? What would be your reason for him to sign? Second tackle out to 30, because I'm telling you that other clubs will try and sign Drinkwater, even though he's just defensively a massive liability. Attacking-wise, he brings a lot of threat. Brenton says, I agree, the Cessnock curtain has been our best, closely followed by our captain, Saifidi. Jacob Saifidi's been brilliant. 4 tackling at the halfway point. If he keeps playing like this, I wouldn't be against him being on the probably 4 passes from Koloamatangi, and it is. It is. Rabbitohs will give the ball to the Raiders at the 45. That is a bad pass there from Koloamatangi. That is a bad pass. Or have they said this is a knock on? What have they called here? Because they're not showing Koloamatangi, so I'm assuming they didn't call the forward pass there. Was it him who passed it? Maybe somebody else. Maybe it was Abner then who passed it instead. I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, Raiders ball here at the 44. Because I don't like making predictions and ending with egg on my face, but I think the Dragons move would be very good for him financially. He's 29 this year, so he'll be looking for a big payday. Payday-wise, sure, but do you want to play Common for a payday? But also, he's going to get a payday pretty much wherever he goes. However, the Dragons kind of the only club that really needs a fullback right now. Josh Papali'i gets his ball to the 40. Parramatta have his eye Yongi. Panthers have Dylan Edwards. Manly still have Tom Trbojevic. And they've got Cole if they wanted to. Knights have about 300 fullbacks. The Titans have about 900 fullbacks. Broncos have Reece Walsh. Dolphins have Famiso. Warriors have about 34 fullbacks. Noah Martin to the 20 on fit tackle. The Sharks are 1. Oh, that's a spicy one. If I'm Cronulla, I'd make a shout. If I'm Cronulla, I'd say that could be a big shout. That's an awful kick from the Raiders. And they will get the ball and be taken down on fit tackle at the 24. And he says, agree with that, Cosrips has said, but we need halves badly. I like Flanagan Jr. and what he does to the team, but he isn't what we need. Lagan says, Teddy is 33. What if the Roosters want to drink his replacement for Teddy's retirement? There's no way he chooses the Dragons over the Roosters unless it's about money. Agree, but also I feel like the Roosters would prefer Dream Buller over Drinkwater, but the shout is there. I think the Roosters, Dragons, and Sharks are probably the only teams that could be considering it. Latrell Mitchell to the 45 on third tackle. That's the best the Dragons can do. Hope for, unfortunately. Beggars can't be choosers, and the best option for mine. Don't disagree. Because there's no way Dream Buller takes the Dragons overstaying with the Tigers or going to the Roosters. or even potentially the Sharks. Again, the Sharks need to move on from Will Kennedy. For mine, great pass across, hit Alex Johnson. Johnson at the 20, but he'll be taking out the 15 on fifth tackle. So Tallis Duncan gets the ball off the trail, fifth tackle, over to Cody Walker. Cody Walker puts that up in a really good area. And, knock on from the Rabbitohs. Oh, no, don't even check this. You know it's a Rabbitohs knock on. Don't waste our time. Liam Kennedy, come on, man. Don't waste our time. This is the most obvious knock-on that has ever knocked on. This might be more of a knock-on than throwing the ball forward. Like, throwing it forward and it being a knock-on 20 metres away. Oh, my gosh. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? What do you mean this is touched by Jack White? Now we need to determine which way it goes. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are we serious? Are we serious? Like, at least they're going to get the call right. And this is the thing. I'm not complaining about the fact that they're going to get the call right. I'm complaining about the fact that we even bothered to go to the bunker for that. Who in what world thought even possible? You're also right, Mitchell. Roosters aren't dealing with Buller manager. I agree with that. Yeah, because Isaac Moses is a muppet. So the Dragons, I don't think they have enough to offer Buller over the Tigers. And I'm pretty certain with the Tigers' progression, Buller will probably stay. But yeah, Isaac Moses does kill that. Otherwise, I think Dream Buller would be a Rooster tomorrow if it wasn't for Isaac Moses. So the Raiders, Noah Martin, he's going to bring this ball to the 35 with a strong run. All the way to the 40, really. Kalamatangi takes him down, but geez, all the way to the 40. Ethan Strange up to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh gets away from one tackle, and then he'll bring this ball out to the 45. He's still going on fourth tackle. Out to Josh Papali'i. Good work there from Corey Horsburgh to stay on his feet. Papali'i will be at the 40 on fifth tackle. And 40 metres out, Ethan Strange puts that ball up. The chase through is decent, but Latrell Mitchell will grab the kick at the 15. So what's Hudson Young on now? He is... Damn, not bad. He's not bad. 65 already. Pretty happy with it. With 35 minutes to go. Jack White now at the 34. Let's go Raiders. Gets go the Waz. Waz are later on today. But yeah, the Raiders are looking alright at the moment. Fourth tackle now for the Rabbitohs at the 45. Mamazelis off to Jamie Humphries. Humphries, good pass to Cameron Murray. Murray gets the ball offloaded to Tallis Duncan. Duncan back underneath here. This is a good play from the Rabbitohs, but they'll take another 25 on fifth tackle. Making some good movement at the moment. They give it to Mamazelis. Mamazelis on to Cody Walker. Cody Walker. Oh, no. No. Oh, it's 6 again. Oh, you're lucky, Cody Walker. That was so dumb, but it's going to work out. Oh, no. Don't tell me Cody Walker deliberately tried that 6 again. It wasn't a 6 again try. He was trying to step inside and get a kick, a little grubber through, which was never going to come off. But he's just lucky the Raiders stuck a foot out of it and make it 6 again. I don't believe. I just don't believe that he deliberately did that. So the Rabbitohs, they're 5 metres out from the line. Third tackle here. Sean Kepi rolls back to Mamazelis. Mamazelis off to Humphries. Humphries to Cody Walker. Cody Walker goes at himself. He's actually going to score. This is the luckiest man I've ever seen. He is the luckiest man I've ever seen just then. From a brain-dead play to scoring a try is astounding. But Cody Walker will score, and it's 24-8 here to the Raiders with a kick to come to the Rabbitohs. It's astounding that he's going to benefit from it. Oh, he's a funny character, the Cody Walker. He's a funny character. But he will score, and it should be a 14-point game in a moment. Now, Raiders, don't do it to yourselves. Don't be the faders that we know. Don't do it to yourselves. Really bad signs in the Raiders start this half. I agree, Lucas. This is usually what they do, though, which is a concern. As a Titans fan, it works out better for me if the Raiders lose this game. I just don't think that they do. But if they do, it's very much what they do all the time. That's bad defense there from Noel Martin, Ethan Strange. But also, it's just good work from Cody Walker overall. It is. 7 says bigger scoreboard. Oh, they didn't refresh it. Okay, give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second, and now it's refreshed. Thank you for letting me know. Walker double, who would have guessed? Yeah, Cody Walker with the old double. But Latrell Mitchell will make the kick. Why have they bothered, at Optus Stadium, why have you bothered selling the top of the stadium in the upper bowl when you're not even close to sold out at all on the lower bowl, and you're definitely not even close to sold out in the second bowl? Why are you selling the upper tiers? I don't understand it. If you sold just the lower bowl and the mid bowl, then maybe you'd have a lot more of the crowd would look a lot better, even though it's still low. Because the Dragons make a play for both the Rodwell boys from the Roosters, that would fix the halfback problem. Their dad was a Steeler. That definitely would not fix the halfback position, but it would provide a potentially different direction in the halfback position. But I'm definitely not saying that fixes the halfback position. So, but it's an option. It's a different direction. Anything besides Carl Flanagan is a different direction. Kalamatangi brings his ball out to the 15. So I'm not shooting down the direction that you're going with, but I'm shooting down the fixed notion that like it's fixed it by getting Rodwell. That's not fixed at all, but it's a potentially future prospect. Third tackle now at the 35. Mamazelis and Lachlan Hubbard with a great run here. The Rabbitohs are getting a bit of fire here. They are finding a little bit of form and momentum, but they've got a long way to get back into this game. Hudson Young slams Mamazelis down to the 40. And they roll it back to Brandon Smith. By the way, I'm feeling Adam Fanua-Blake scores in this next game. He hasn't scored this season. I'm feeling a bit of Adam Fanua-Blake. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling a tiny little bit of Adam Fanua-Blake against the Chookies. He just bounces over, I reckon. They'll be at the 10 on second tackle. Sebastian Chris. Wow, this is not great from the Raiders to start this second half, man. And Savelia Tamale takes this ball to the 20 on third tackle. Back to the 15. They are struggling for meters. Raiders, you've got to find something in you to keep this momentum up from the first half, because right now this is struggle street. And you get on the Coke Zero. Full tackle. Tom Starling, that's a good run to the 35. That's a great run from Tom Starling. Get the offload away. Great offload. Unbelievable stuff from Tom Starling. KO Weeks away. Oh, 10 under 50. Well, Tom Starling and KO Weeks just saved their set. Corey Horsburgh up to Ethan Strange, and Strange puts that ball up in the air. The chase through is pretty good here from the Raiders. Sasangi slaps him at the 20. Jeez, he's been good, Sasangi. Roosters fan, but think Sharks might edge it. I've backed into the Sharks. I have, but it's a tough game to call. Trell taking out the 24. Very typical of the Sharkies to lose that game, no? It would be. Corey Horsburgh and I think Noel Martin made that tackle there. Fourth tackle at the 35. 30 minutes to go here of the game, folks. The score is still a 14-point game to the Raiders. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Right up to this, Roosters Sharks at Optus Stadium as well. Tallis Duncan, too easy. Alex Johnson's away, Alex Johnson's away, Alex Johnson's away, Alex Johnson's away. Back on the inside, Jamie Humphries. Raiders, this is what you do, isn't it? This is what you do, isn't it? The Rabbitohs are back into the game. It is 24-14 with a kick to come. And Raiders, this is what they do. This is what they do. Seven since they get up against the Chooks. They did in the last game against them. And well, the last two games against them, but not really. Usually the Roosters actually do beat the Sharkies, but not in the last two games. Of course, hasn't been binned yet. Has he gotten Blitz's angry pills? Well, he actually was off the bench here today, so he missed out the first 25 or so minutes, but has been pretty solid since coming on. However, the Raiders, they're fading, as they typically do. They need to prevent this comeback right now because the Rabbitohs are coming back into it. They're just slow. Ethan Strange was the one on the wing there. I don't know why he's out there on the wing defending, and he makes the mistake ultimately, and Alex Johnson breaks through and then passes an easy 2-on-1 pass back to Jamie Humphries. 3 tries all from the halves. Yeah, it has been. Jamie Humphries, Cody Walker, and Cody Walker for the Rabbitohs. Oh boy, Raiders, this is a worry. Oh boy, this is a worry. This is a major, major worry. Sam Jenko, he messaged me just now saying, Trog gets a kick, it's 24-16. He goes, Talangi 31, man 80, stitch me up. Well, Sam, I don't know if you're watching right now. If you are, please let me know, because I'll tell you, if you go back to that stream, I said that I was thinking the Doggies would put on a performance which is going to make it tough for Talangi, but also you'd probably lean with him in a tough one. However, Ezra Mam scored off of a 4-pass try last night. You can't really hurt that one, but Talangi not getting the points. Look at what I said to you on Thursday night. Brighton says Raiders are up. What's been happening? Missed the first half. They were up 24-4. Now it's 24-16. Peter says Brandon Smith hasn't played a lot of mins. Did he get injured? No, they've probably just switched him out for Mamazelis, which is what they do. Jay's just got a few health issues right now, Lucas, so he's just sorting through those. He's still kicking, man, but he's just he's got a few health things that he needs to sort out, mate. So he'll be back and ready. He'll time you out as soon as he comes back in. But yeah, no, he's just got his own stuff, and life happens, man. We all love a rugby league, but you got to sort out your life before you sit down and watch the old rubber. So they go to the right to David Fafita, and Fafita third tackle now at the 30. Fada's fading. Fada's currently fading, Brighton. Currently fading. They need to turn this. Hudson Young's got a couple. He's been good, and the Raiders were great in the first half, but the Fada's just typically fading at the moment. Fourth tackle, they go to the right to David Fafita, and Fafita brings us now to the 45 on the Rabbitohs side of the field. I actually don't mind what Ricky's done here. I do actually think Corey's been better. Oh, that's an awful kick from the Rabbitohs. It'll go literally 3 metres. Knocked back here from the Rabbitohs. Knocked back again. And knocked back again. It's going to be at the 50, the 45. Jamie Humphries offloads it again. Hits the grass. Oh, no, this is awful. But Cody Walker's going to get a kick away. It's actually going to end up being pretty good if it goes over the sideline. But Kaya Weeks will get it to the 40. Good run to the 45. All the way to the 50. So the Raiders are already on the attack. That was poor from the Rabbitohs. That was poor. He's on Peter, just not at 9. Is Brandon Smith still on? Yeah, he is. Yeah, Brandon Smith is still on. It's just that Mamazelos is the 9. So I think that that maybe Brandon Smith is playing the 13 at the moment. Maybe. Because the 13, Cameron Murray, maybe they put Cameron Murray into the back row and Brandon Smith to the 13 potentially. Oh, good run there from Morgan Smithies, and Kalamatangi makes the tackle, and he's down at the moment. God bless him. I think he's okay, but he's just come up a little bit worse for wear from the tackle. It's Joe Tarpany, and Tarpany is going to be 15 metres away from the line. Fit tackle. They go to the right, off to Ethan Sanders. Sanders now to Strange. Strange on fit tackle. Strange on fit tackle. Still going here. Past the ball, dude. I don't know why so many teams are taking the tackle on fit nowadays. Let's switch the game off for a bit. Rabbitohs back in it now. They are. Raiders doing their typical fading. Second tackle here. Sorry, first tackle for the Rabbitohs, and they're going to be 7 metres out. It's still a long way back in this for the Rabbitohs, but at least they... Oh, Jack White nearly gets away with it at 20. Second tackle. Minty says, woohoo, look at that score. Go Rabbits. If you're a Rabbitohs fan, you're saying woohoo at being down 24-16? Third tackle at 35? Really? Surely you're not saying woohoo with the Rabbitohs. It makes sense if you're a Raiders fan being up by 8, being like that. But like the Rabbitohs could come back in this game, absolutely. But I wouldn't be saying this is a woohoo right now. Kalamatangi still down by 8 points. Kalamatangi gets this ball to the 40 on fit tackle. Really? Are we celebrating it being an 8-point game in the Raiders as a Rabbitohs fan? And Raiders get the ball through Jed Stewart. He'll be at the 20. Come back. Yeah, but they're still down by 8 points. What do you mean, woohoo? Still down by 8 points. Second tackle here at the 30. And now Savelio Tamale has been so bad, bro. He has been really bad. It's a knock-on from Savelio Tamale. And the Rabbitohs are going to go on the attack here. That's a woohoo. Now you can say a woohoo. That's a woohoo moment. How's Smith been playing? Well, he's not 9 now. They've got Mamazelos there. But Savelio Tamale, I'll be honest with you, I would not be surprised if Ricky considers putting him into reserve grade for a couple of weeks. Because he has not had a good start to this season. And right now, he just doesn't look confident at all. At all. A lot of them have no teeth. Let them be happy with something, Mitchell says. So it's going to be Jaden Sullivan who's on the field for the Rabbitohs. He'll roll this ball back out to Mamazelos. Mamazelos then to Tallis Duncan. And Duncan's going to be at the 24. Well, this has turned into a game now because the Raiders doing what they typically do and fading. It's a Raider thing to do. They are 10 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Sean Kepi rolls it back to Mamazelos. Mamazelos off to Jamie Humphries. Humphries and Cody Walker. Cody Walker to Tron Mitchell. Tron Mitchell goes at himself. He goes at himself. He goes at himself. Oh, good scramble. He got really close. Oh, has he scored? Oh my gosh, he scored. How has Latrell just scored that just then? That's just come out of absolutely nowhere. How has he scored that? That's an impressive try from Latrell because there's about 100 Raiders players here, but the Raiders doing what they do best and they're throwing away a game they should have just simply won easily. How has Latrell scored this? There's 3 players on him. KO Weeks there too, and yeah, yeah. I don't think you can take it off him, but this is just poor from the Raiders, bro. Like, it's strong from Trell, but that's poor from the Raiders. I don't think you can take it off him, though, Michael. I don't think there's going to be evidence to take it off him. I can hear the argument that maybe it's short, but I don't think there's going to be evidence to overturn it. There's 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 4 there. Trell. I think it is a try. I don't think you could overturn it. There's nothing that's going to be able to overturn that before he loses it. I do feel like he probably was short, but they're not going to be able to overturn it. Try confirmed. Try confirmed. So it is going to be a 4-point game here with a 2-point game potentially coming up if he gets the kick here, Terrell. What a strong try regardless. And Raiders, what are you doing? How is this such a common theme with them? He's been struggling fitness-wise, in my opinion. Oh, they will get the kicks. It's a 2-point game. It did look short. I thought it might have been, but again, you wouldn't have been able to overturn it. Here they come. Down 24-22. Raiders. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness me. Footy says, I think it touched short. Agree. I do think it probably was short, but the referee called it as a try. It wouldn't have been overturned either way. If he called it a no-try bunker, they would have said no try. If he called it a try, so it's called a try. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. Metcalf's bro was 24-4. Yep, welcome to the Canberra Raiders. Welcome, welcome. This is what we see, Metcalf. This is what we see with them. Peter says, do you think Latrell is a better centre than Critter and Herbie? Right now, yeah, but he's not playing centre. He's playing fullback today because Jai Gray's injured. Even though he's attacking from the centre department. Koloamatangi brings his ball to the 10 on first tackle. Yeah, I think he does have... yeah, I would say it. It's a ballsy call over Herbie. Crichton's dropping a little bit at the moment. Pre-injury, he's dropping a little bit at the moment. Right now, I would say... I'd probably say Trell in the centres, maybe, and then Herbie second, Crichton third. But I could definitely hear the conversation of Herbie first. 4 tackle now at the 30. Mo with the $5 redo donation. Get around your Mo says, as a Yank, I think footy is the best sport in the world. Get around your Mo. Get around. But you're a Dragons fan, Mo. You sure? You sure? You love the game of Rugby League? No, I get it. I'm a Titans fan. I love the game of Rugby League, so I get it. But thank you very much for the donation. Oh, my gosh. The Raiders are bad, bro. Oh, no. Oh, you're going to lose this. You're going to lose this. You're going to lose this. This is what the Raiders do, bro. Rabbitohs, like, I can't... like, this is... Sure, you've played fine, but I'm sorry. This is the Raiders again. Oh, it's a drop ball. KO Weeks has just dropped this cold. It's an easy catch, and he's just dropped it out of nowhere, and the Rabbitohs are going to go back on the attack here. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. Oh, if Rabbits remain in top 8 at the end of the round, will they go on fraud alert? No. Oh, it's hard to watch here from a Canberra perspective. Latrell at his best is definitely better, I would agree. Anyway, Rabbitohs 20 metres away. Raiders, you are having a gigantic fall-off here, as per usual. First tackle at the 13. Mamazelos goes quickly. That's a 6 again. That's a 6 again, nearly a penalty too, which would actually make the game 24-24, mind you. And the ascendancy is absolutely with the Rabbitohs at the moment. Mamazelos to Jaden Sullivan. Sullivan now to Brandon Smith, and Brandon Smith is going to be 5 metres away from the line, second tackle. They're going to roll it back to Mamazelos, out the back to Sullivan. Sullivan runs it himself, and Tom Starling and Morgan Smithies make the tackle here. It is third tackle, 5 metres away. They get it off to Brandon Smith. He'll go it himself. He'll be 4 metres out, fourth tackle. It's a massive defense here, Raiders. Go to Jack Whiten. Jack Whiten gives it across here to Duncan, who's playing on the... No, that's Kimball Graham, sorry. It'll be fifth tackle now, 5 metres away from the line. Jack Whiten goes short. That was not the play. So it'll be Raiders ball to 3. They still lead by 2. 20 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. How good has this week of Rugby League been, though? How good has this week of Rugby League been? We saw a great game, Bulldogs-Panthers. We saw a close game and a pretty good game, just lacking quality in that Manly Dragons. We saw a no defense close game, Broncos-Cowboys. And in this one, we're seeing a big comeback, but again, Raiders. We're seeing a penalty to Canberra. They're going to be so grateful for that. That is a relief. That is a very big relief there for Canberra. Koloamatangi gives away the penalty. I completely disagree with you, Mo. Best game was yesterday, Broncos-Cowboys, in my opinion. I disagree. I don't like no-defense games, and I thought the referee had way too much involvement in that game. It was well too over-officiated, and there were so many bad calls. Both teams felt like they were robbed, and no defense. And I just think it was a scrappy one, but there was a bit of there was obviously quite a lot of attack, but there was no defense. So I would disagree. I would honestly say Panthers Dragons was a way more enjoyable game. Panthers Bulldogs was way more enjoyable, and I would even actually say I would even go to say that Manly versus Dragons was more exciting for 60 minutes. But I understand that it was still a close game and it was still, down to the wire. However, quality wise, it lacked a bit. So Ethan Sanders, but the same thing goes for that Manly Dragons game. So 4 tackle Hudson Young to the 30. Panthers Dogs was not enjoyable, Blake says. That's a Panthers fan saying that. That was a very enjoyable game, in my opinion. Armariota out to Sanders. Sanders and Noah Martin. He pushes away from Jack Whiten and gets his ball to the 20. White makes a tackle, but it was a good run there from Noah Martin. All right, Sebastian Chris to Ethan Sanders. He's going to put that... awful kick, man. Awful kick. And the Rabbitohs get the ball to 20. You just need to put the ball into the 10 and then just defend right now, Raiders. You're still leading. You're still up despite this comeback. You are still leading. Don't forget that. Well, the highlight of this round of footy was when you were called a Saints fan. Yeah, I'm apparently a biased Saints fan, me. Yeah, massive Dragons fan, me. Massive. Sean says 47 likes, hit the button. Yeah, let's get up to at least 60 likes. Let's get another 13 likes over this next 18 minutes, guys. If you haven't already, it's free. Smash the thumbs up button. Royal says, Thursday's game was a feast for the eyes, one of the best games I've seen this season. It was a great game. Rabbitohs nearly get away. It was also nearly an intercept. They get the offload away, and then it gets underneath now to Campbell Graham. Campbell Graham taken down to the 38 on fit tackle. Rabbitohs are chomping. They are chomping. Sullivan to Trell Mitchell. Quick kick up. It's going to be a basic kick because there was good pressure from the Raiders defense, and KO Weeks will grab this one at the 15 first tackle. First tackle. Panthers game was not enjoyable. That is a Panthers fan for sure. Second tackle. Second tackle at the 20. They go to Jed Stewart, and he'll get this ball to the 25. They've kind of been having poor sets that have been saved by Thomas Darling or a big run from somebody like that from Simi Sasungi. Gets his ball out to the 38 for tackle. They just have these one-off runs that end up being really good. That wasn't good from Tom Starling, however, and he'll be taken down to the 42. So roll it back here to Simi Sasungi. And you just need to pump this ball down, Ethan. Oh, Sanders. Oh, my gosh. You're going to give me a heart attack. Oh, the ball's going to bounce awkwardly, though, and the Rabbitohs will get this ball to 30. But, oh, my gosh, Sanders, please. Oh, no. And because of it, the Rabbitohs are away. Taking out the 45. Ethan Sanders, why are you putting a bomb up that goes 10 metres at your own 45? Oh, my gosh. The Raiders are just capitulating. Second tackle here at the 45. Mamazella's off to Vita Totola, and that's good defense there from the Raiders. Joe Tarpany, Tom Starling rush up quickly. What is these kicks? These kicks are awful from the Raiders right now, man. Kalomatangi, he'll run this ball to the 30 on 4 tackle. 17 minutes left. This has been an enjoyable game. Again, a lot of errors in this game, but this has been a fun game to watch, in my opinion. Now give it to Jamie Humphries. Humphries underneath to Totola, and not a good set here from the Rabbitohs considering where they started it. Mamazella's to Cody Walker. Cody Walker with a little dink into the corner. And that's going to bounce awkwardly, but Jed Stewart gets it and he'll be taken down to the 3. But it's a good kick there from Cody Walker. Kobe Black in. KO Weeks is away. KO Weeks away. The 20, the 25. He's still going here. He cuts out to the left. He's got Sebastian Chris. He's got himself. He backs himself. He's at the 40, the 50. Oh, KO Weeks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is spectacular. The Raiders have just scored out of absolutely nowhere. Kyo Weeks, after making one of the most brain-dead knock-on dropped from a kick about 5 minutes ago, has just run from inside his own in-goal. He's scored a 100-metre try. He's scored a 100-metre try. KO Weeks breaks through 2 tackles. He gets through another tackle at the 25. He then cuts out to the left-hand side. He's got Sebastian Chris. Selfish not to pass it to him, but then he backs himself. So forget the selfishness. You've damn well scored a try, and that is an incredible try. It's one of the tries of the season from KO Weeks. That is spectacular. That is unbelievable. Yeah, that was actually amazing, Footy Dad. That was an incredible try. Against all odds, too. The Raiders are done in this game. Like, they're getting absolutely slaughtered in regards to physicality, the speed, just everything. They're making errors. the kicks are really poor, and then Kale Weeks, with just a speck of brilliance, just turns it on a dime and runs 100 metres to make it an 8-point game because it's going to be under the post, basically. It is under the post. It's going to be 30-22 out of absolutely nowhere. Lucas is embarrassing for the Bunnies. Sure, but KO Weeks put on a show just then. Like, that was a show from KO Weeks. You're right, but also, like, don't denigrate from KO Weeks because that was unreal. Weeksy's more rocks and diamonds than Reese Peasy's. No, Reese Peasy's more rocks and diamonds, but I get what you're saying. What a run from KO Weeks, son. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. What a run, dude. What a run. What do you mean he's done 90 there? He's done 100 metres there, Kevin Walters. 8-point lead is huge. It is now with 15 minutes because that kills all the momentum that the Rabbitohs had. An 8-point lead is now massive. That kills all the momentum that the Rabbitohs had. Wowee. All right. Well. We've got 14 minutes and 22 seconds to go here. It's 30-22. The Raiders. We've seen some high-scoring games these last couple of games. A concept says, eat a big bag of Doodle South. Jeez. To get in 45 minutes time. In 45 minutes time, we will be live for the next game, which is the Roosters and Shishakis. Roosters and Shishakis. I love a good Wayne Bennett press conference after a South loss. Alright, 14 minutes to go here. Minty says, come on, Lateral. Well, Lateral doesn't actually play with the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell does. Latrell does. I don't know who Lateral is, unless you're saying to pass the ball laterally. If you're saying pass the ball laterally, then yeah, I agree. But if you're saying Lateral is playing, Lateral is not actually, in fact, playing in this game. So now Jack White misses a tackle, yep. So Morgan Smithies, he'll bring this ball, third tackle to the 25. And now they go to the right to Ethan Strange, then off to Simi Sasangi. He'll step a couple of times before tackle. You can see there's a bit of a boost in the Raiders' step with these last couple of plays. Hudson Young, this set has been a lot better for him at the 42. You can see there's definitely a boost in their confidence. I really feel like that's probably won the game for the Raiders in mine. The Raiders can still win. It's only 8 points, but I really do see that the Raiders are feeling that confidence again after that breakaway try for KO Weeks. So Alex Johnston, and if KO Weeks doesn't score that, like, the Rabbitohs probably going to win this game, but I just don't know if they've now got another 2 tries against the confidence that the Raiders just got. Third tackle here at the 30. No, the 40, sorry. Third tackle at the 40 for the Rabbitohs. Off to David Fafita, and Dave brings it to the 50. 4 tackle. Lateral for man of the match, mate. Lateral's unbelievable, but he's just not playing here, unfortunately, today. Well, Trell Mitchell, though, he's had a pretty good game. The old Trelly boy. Fifth tackle to Cody Walker. He'll dink that ball into the corner, but Jed Stewart's there, and good grab. Good grab. And this is the confidence I'm talking about. He gets away from Cody Walker as well, and he's going to bring this ball out here to about the 20. It's a good grab there from Jed Stewart, and you can just see Savelli Tomato, just hold the ball, please, bro. He'll be at the 25, second tackle. Simi Sasangi nearly breaks through. He'll be at the 35. Sebastian Chris now to the 40, to the 45. 4 tackle now for the Raiders at the 50. Pass it to Weeks. Have you got KO Weeks and Supercoach, Coach? Is that why you're saying that? At the Mariota. He'll be now at the 45 on fifth tackle. 12 minutes to go here of the game. Do you think Fafita's a shout at Queensland? Don't know who Fafita is. I know who Fafita is with an I. Don't know who Fafita is, though. No, I don't right now. I don't think David's been great for overall for the Rabbitohs. I don't think he stood out for the Rabbitohs. I don't think he stood out at all. He's kind of been a bit of a passenger here for the Rabbitohs so far this season. Like, what is there that you can think of that Dave has done that stood out from the pack this year for the Rabbitohs? He'll run the ball now to the 25 on third tackle. And you guys know I love Dave. You know, I want him to succeed. But what is there that you've seen from Dave that has suggested that he should be getting to the back row? So fourth tackle, Mamazella's off to Keon Kolomatangi. And Kolomatangi brings his ball to the 42 now on fifth tackle. Kolomatangi's been sold today without being absolutely spectacular, but he's been sold today. So Kyle Weeks, he'll bring this ball to the 20, to the 25. Be first tackle, 10 minutes to go here in the game, folks. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. 8 points the difference. Raiders in the lead, 30-22. Sevelia Tamale loses the ball again. Oh my gosh, Sevelia. Oh my gosh, Sevelia Tamale. That's a momentum changer. That's a game changer right there. You've dropped the ball at the 32. Sevelia Tamale has been awful today. He has been awful today. Do you have Fafita on your Supercoach? I do not, no. But I only played Supercoach draft. I haven't been playing the actual Supercoach itself. Oh, Kolomatangi knocks the ball on, and Hudson Young picks it up. He'll get the offload away, and then there's a knock on there from the Raiders, but it will come back for the knock on against Kolomatangi. You're very, very lucky. Very lucky there, Tomato, but honestly, he needs a good speaking to. They're probably going to win this game here, the Raiders, but geez, he needs a good speaking to. He's been so poor. So poor, but yeah, Kolomatangi, the pass wasn't great to him. But there's 10 minutes left of the game. It's still anyone's game, but you would expect the Raiders to win it from here after that them being the last try. So 11 errors to the Raiders, 8 errors to the Rabbitohs. They've only made 1 error in this second half here, the Rabbitohs. That's really good. The Raiders have made 3. So at least it's been a less error-ridden half from both teams. Second tackle now for Tom Starling and the Raiders. They're going to bring this ball out here to the 40. It's Simi Sasangi. He'll then bring this ball to the 50 on third tackle. Rabbitohs got 73% of votes in the poll for who will win. Hudson Young, back underneath Ethan Strange. That's the game, folks. Try time with the Raiders. Hudson Young, try assist. Ethan Strange, try to the post. It is 34-22 with a kid to come, and they may win this game 13 plus now. That is the game. And that's what I said, that momentum, that confidence change was just gigantic from that KO Weeks run. He won them the game. KO Weeks won them the game. Simi Sasangi here. It's a great run there to the 50, but then they're set up on this right-hand side. The Rabbitohs, they're done for numbers. You can already see it. Strange, off to Hudson Young. Line break, right through. Bing, bang. Ethan Strange. See you later under the post. 25 Raiders coming back, boys. I don't know if you would be overall incredibly happy with this 80-minute performance, but you'd just be feeling good to have won a game again, because it's been a really struggle streak since round 1. The Raiders won their first game of the season, haven't won since. So for them, it's just about winning and getting the 2 points. But the way that they've done it here today was concerning, because they were up 24-4 at half time, and then it was 24-22 before KO Weeks had to have a magic miracle try of 100 metres, and then they've gone and scored again here. But like, there is still room for concern in this team, but they've gone and got the job done, so you're not going to complain about it. Small Blue says, love myself a Noah Martin Hudson Young edges combo. How good. Hudson Young's been incredible today. Try assist and also 2 tries. He's been spectacular. And I captained him on Supercoach. He will get over 100 now with that line break and try assist. Moses, don't you just love it when the wife nags you to go to bed when it's footy night? Listen, you're just going to tell her that we got a big day. This is a big day of rugby league. Rabbitohs Raiders was 50-50. I'm happy I got the 50-50 correct tip. The Sharks Roosters could be a belter, and the Storm Warriors could be an absolute belter. You know, we've got a massive day of rugby league here, son. So you're going to have to tell her. You're going to say, listen, today is so important. Today is one of the most important days on the calendar, son. It's rugby league. I know it's early for you, though. I know it's real early. You got to grow up. You got to grow up and you got to take one for the team. You know, you're a Dragons fan. You watched that shit yesterday. At least you're going to have a good day today. 14-point game of the Raiders, by the way. So you just got to tell her it's time to realise, 1, that you're going to watch rugby league today. 2, the Titans are going to go undefeated for the rest of the competition. And 3, they may never lose a game ever again. So the Raiders will not get the short kickoff. The Rabbitohs get it, and they'll have the ball here at the 50 through Sean Kepi. Blakes is not a fan of Noah Martin being benched for the Supercoach. I'm backing in Faimani now. Silatili Faimani might score 7 tries tomorrow. Okay, Brenton, let's settle down on that one. Like, let's be respectful to the man's wife. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Let's be a little bit more respectful to the man's wife. Third tackle now at the 35. Royal says, if Rabbits stay in the top 8 at the end of the round, do they go on fraud? No. Oh, but they did lose second last. No, I don't think... No. They will stay in the top 8 by the end of the round. I don't think they do. Panthers is a bit of a funny one, to be fair, man. Fit tackle, but they did lose. They have lost here to the Raiders, who were second last. What do you guys think? It's an interesting thought process. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it because I'm going to post it on Insta. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, every time there's a fraud alert, we do put it on a post, and we collaborate with Jesse from Best Sport 2.0. He'll love it too. He's a Roosters fan. Knock on there from the Raiders, and the Rabbitohs are going to get this ball here at the 13. Jeremy says, I need Alex Toy to score for my multi. Alex Toy? Who's Alex Toy? I have a similar issue sometimes. Noise-cancelling headphones, my friend, worth a treat. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a good idea. Oh, what's lagging? Been removed of a comment. Yeah, we're definitely removing that comment from lagging. I've already told, like, Brenton's one was diabolical. Your one was absolutely timeout worthy. Like a 1,000,000% timeout worthy. Again, guys, like, did you see how I responded to him with like a respectful, joking way, not talking about dishes or smacking someone? Like, that is just wild. It's a knock on. Oh, they're going to say ball from contact goes backwards from Simon says something. It's going to be a successful challenge. It's Raiders ball. Confusing, but sure. Jeremy says, love your channel, brother. I have Fox, but I prefer to watch your channel. Appreciate you, Jeremy. It's always good to have the both of them, going and whatnot. Where you can watch the game and obviously have this interactive commentary and whatnot. But I appreciate you enjoying the channel. Everyone says, I mean, Jai Gray's injured, but yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just funny, like at the end of the day, fraud alert is just a little bit of a funny thing. We're going to do it. Because to be fair, the Raiders are second last. They are second last. So first tackle. I should actually have something that has fraud watch, not fraud alert. Is there something that has like a transparent fraud watch? Transparent fraud watch. Because then that's not like a convincing fraud alert, but they're on fraud watch. Oh, there is something there with like a man walking, but that's not transparent. I'd need to go and get the transparent one. Yeah, I'll figure that out after this. Alright, so the Rabbitohs, I'll bring this ball here to the 20. Don't take tips from Lagan either. We're not taking tips from a Bulldogs fan, no way. Rabbits beat Dogs, Dogs pounded Panthers. Yes, so ultimately that means the Titans win the comp. Your Royal Grand Majesty. Second tackle now for the Rabbitohs, they'll be at the 30. Should Panthers go and scam? No way. To be fair, fraud alert is just an alert to potentially being frauds. I don't think we need fraud watch. Talis Duncan 6 again for the Rabbitohs here at the 40. Appreciate the referee hasn't really been too much in the whistle today for the 6 again. Second tackle now for the Rabbitohs at the 50. I think we keep it a fraud alert and then keep it a scam if they like just guarantee that they're a bunch of muppets. Like if you have 4 losses in a row, you go on scam in the top 8. Broncos and Sharks were on there multiple times last year. The Sharks might have nearly been on it all year. On scam last year. They might have the whole year. It takes like more than one game to get off scam as well. Oh, good pass. Talis Duncan. Alex Johnston. True right time. He's broken the try scoring record, folks. He's broken the try scoring record as Alex Johnston. Oh my gosh. By the way, Huddy Young's on 105 now. But Alex Johnston goes over, scores the try. And it is going to be 36-28. 36-28, but we are getting the preparations ready. Slowly, just right. Oh my gosh. Fraud alert for the Rabbitohs losing the second last. You are on fraud alert. You are on fraud alert, son. Oh my gosh. Shalmidi will get the kick from the sideline though. It's 36-28 with 4 minutes to go here of the game. Run on the field, you cats. Dogs injuries factor into this fraud alert because I got a feeling Broncos are going to have that tag after next week. You can't have a fraud alert tag next week because you're not in the top 8. You're already on fraud alert because you're not in the top 8. You have to be in the top 8 to be on fraud alert on here, but everybody else is already in the fraud alert, champion. Champion, listen, you're already on fraud alert. Anyone who's not in the top 8 is on fraud alert. Welcome to the frauds, Sir Bunny. Welcome to the frauds, Sir Bunny. 4 minutes to go here. Don't forget, we will be live in about... Well, this game's gone very quickly. We'll be live about 15 minutes before. I might even start half an hour before. No, I think, yeah, we've got 15 minutes before. This stream will send you straight across the next one. Roosters, Sharkies. Better crowd there now than there was for the early part of this game. Can we just add Dragons on that and put Scam at this point? Okay, so Ibrahim, I don't understand how you're not understanding this. They're not in the top 8. They can't. They're already on Scam. They're already there. They're already there. You can't see them. They're already on it. So the Rabbitohs, Keon Kalamatangi off to Jamie Humphries. And Humphries now with a 33 on third tackle. They roll it back to Mamazelas. Mamazelas off to David Fafita. Fafita at the back of the Trell Mitchell. Trell Mitchell gets it off. They're actually away here. They're actually away here. He might score. Jack White's going to score. Oh my gosh, the game's actually still on here, lads. Oh my gosh, the game's actually still on. It's 36-22, 36-32 with the hit to come. Oh my gosh, Raiders, you couldn't do this to yourselves. You couldn't. Raiders, you couldn't do this to yourself. You couldn't do it to yourself. You couldn't do it to yourself here, Raiders. You couldn't. You're up by 14 points with 4.5 minutes to go, and now it's going to be a 2-point game, probably. Oh, dude. Well, Rabbitohs, you could go immediately back off a fraud load if you find a way to win this game. And I also think a loss by 2 points is already going to take them off of fraud alert. I'm actually going to take them back off it. Because they were down by 14 2 minutes ago when we put that on, and now they've rocketed back. So you've been on fraud alert for a grand total of about 30 seconds, and you're off it again. So 3 minutes to go here of the game. It is 36-34 to the Raiders. You're already off it. Geez, if the Raiders were top 8, they would have scammed next to them. Oh, dude, this Raiders team is just mind-blowing, bro. Yeah, shut up. Again, the Panthers lost 13 plus. The Bulldogs, the Rabbitohs were losing 13 plus. Now they're only losing by 2. You can't put them on fraud alert. You can't. So he says Lachelle can kick pretty far out too if need be. Yeah, 2-point field goal is definitely on the potential. 3 minutes to go here of the game, folks. I can't believe this is as close of a game now as it is. Hit that like button and subscribe. It's a 2-point game with 3 minutes left here. 2-point game with 3 minutes left. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Rabbitohs with the ball now. They're going to bring it out to the 15 on first tackle. Let me know who you think wins it in the chat. Do you think the Raiders hold out for this next 3 minutes, or do you think that the Rabbitohs just find a way? David Fafita brings the ball to the 25 on second tackle. Royal Majesty says Panthers are the only team that deserve fraud after one game. Well, they lost 13 plus, again, to the Bulldogs. Kalamatangi, Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell. Oh, forward pass. Forward pass. Oh, Trell. I know you're going to try and risk things, but now if you're the Raiders, you just go through and complete this set. You don't need to score. If you score, great, but you don't need to score. Mass say they lose. Just poke at my dad. I always grew up with him saying, if you've got to score more points than minutes on the clock, you know there's a problem. You know there's a problem if there's more points needed than minutes on the clock. Latrell 2-point field goal, extra time, here we come. Well, I don't know about that one now because he's thrown the forward pass and the Raiders are going to go on to the attack. So the Raiders, they will get this ball to the 24, 25. It's Sebastian Chris with 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go here of the game. They go to the right. The clock has stopped for some reason. Now it's on. Joe Tarpany, he'll be at the 18. Could you imagine if Huddy Young gets a Hattie here? Blake says that went backwards if you look at it from the right angle. I want to time you out for 30 years off that comment. I've seen enough forward passes. Oh, Huddy Young breaks a tackle. He'll bring this ball to the 5 on third tackle now. If the Raiders score, it's game over. If they can just complete the set, it's close enough. But they'll have to go 90 metres. They'll have to go 100 metres here, the Rabbitohs. 4 tackle now for the Raiders. There are the 8. They go at the back into Sanders. Sanders to Hudson Young. He's just going to soak up the clock here. He's just soaking up the clock. They're just soaking up the clock. He's losing meters doing it. Oh, he breaks past the tackle too and then gets the ball to the 5. That was actually really good stuff there from Hudson Young. That's actually really good stuff. 5th tackle over the Raiders. I wouldn't even kick this. I would get taken on 5th. Ethan Sanders, short ball. Noah Martin, he pushes off of 1. He pushes off of 2. You got to go 95 meters here, Rabbitohs. 95 meters. 95 metres, 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. David Fafita rolls it back to Jamie Humphreys, and he gets it to Jack White, and Jack White and slam down to the 13. You got to chance the arm here, Rabbitohs. He's got to throw it around. Humphreys to David Fafita, and Fafita is going to be the 20 on second tackle. 57 seconds to go here of the game. Go to the left to Keon Kolomatangi. Kolomatangi at the back, and Cody Walker. Cody Walker to Latrell Mitchell. Latrell Mitchell, great pass, Alex Johnson. Johnson's away. Johnson's away. He's at the 40. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. Johnson cracked down. Gets the offload away. They're still going here. Cameron Murray. They're going to be within chance of a 2-point field goal here. Third tackle, 25 metres away here from the line. Oh my gosh, they've actually got a chance here. Latrell Mitchell gets it across now too. Jamie Humphreys gets it across to David Fafita. Fafita, Jack White, and the 2-point penalties in play too. 4th tackle, Latrell has to go wait by the 40 just in case. You have to go back and wait by the 40 just in case, to be honest with you. 24 seconds to go here. Sean Kepi, he's 15 metres out. 5th tackle, last play right now. Mamazelis, right hand side. Jamie Humphreys, they throw it back. Latrell Mitchell, they still need 2. They put this ball up. It's a good kick in the area. Chance here. Oh my gosh, the Rabbitohs knock it on. It's game over. Oh my gosh, I thought he came up with that for a second. I actually genuinely thought Alex Johnson might have come up with that for a second, but it's a knock on and it's game over. Raiders, I can't believe you've won this game. What a finish to that game, by the way. We've seen ridiculously high-scoring games these last 2 ones. 35-31 last night, Broncos-Cowboys, and 36-34. What a finish. Great finish to the game. I thought that Johnston picked that ball up in the corner out of nowhere just then. I thought he did, but obviously he dropped it. But when I first watched it, I thought, oh my gosh, he actually picked that up. And then he kicks it across. Johnston, oh dude, he actually did get a grasp of it too, but he does obviously drop the ball on. And you get through. Olivia Ribbity, $8 donation says, also just want to let you know I'm being arrested tonight. I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you very much for the donation there, Olivia. Get around you. Appreciate you for the support. Wow. What a wild game. What a wild game that was just then. That was wild. But there we go, folks. There we go. That is the game. 36-34 to the Raiders. They'll get the win. The Rabbitohs, you lose by 2, so your points differential not hurt too much. You go to 12, so you won't go below the Bulldogs, which you'll be happy with. However, if the Warriors win today, you'll go to 6th. If the Sharks win today, you'll go to 7th. The Sharks play the Roosters right after this in about 20 minutes' time. The lowest you can go now is into pretty much 7th position, but you're going to hate that you lost that game. Raiders, on the other hand, you will only win by 2, so you're still minus 67, so you're still below the Eels. You jump above the Titans for now, but if the Titans beat the Eels tomorrow, you will then go back below the Titans. Now, Dragons fans, you're going to hate this. The Raiders winning that game means they're 4 points clear of you. Eels are 4 points clear. Storm are 4 points clear. If the Titans beat the Eels tomorrow, you are 4 points at the bottom of the table. That means every team would have won 2 games, and you have not won a single game. I'm sorry, Dragons fans, but you need the Titans to lose to the Eels tomorrow, because otherwise you are clear at the bottom of the table by 2 full wins, and you're the only team who hasn't won a game, and every other team would have won 2 games. That's crazy to think about. That's actually crazy to think about. But anyway, Raiders, they move up into 15th spot for the time being. Rabbitohs, they're staying in 5th, but it just depends on the Warriors and Sharkies. We'll see you guys in about 20 minutes' time for the next game, which is the Roosters going up against the Sharkies over here at Optus Stadium. Obviously, hit that like button, subscribe for new around here, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.